There we go. Round two, baby. That's right. Round two for today. Wasn't planning on doing two streams. I was just going to do this one. But then I was like, you know what? Since they were live streaming the DC Studios Creature Commandos panel, I was like, you know what? Might as well just live stream it. Why not? And it was fun. Me and Phil reacted to it, so if you watch that, sorry, I burned my pinky earlier this week and had a little flakiness coming off my the skin right there. That was a nice one. That bubbled up nicely. But anyways, yeah, round two. Cheers, guys. So it's almost like a vodka stream, round two also. So cheers. Got my little vodka mule. And this is open to if you want to join and you're part of the, you're a member of the channel or you're a member of the Patreon. Hey, you're going to get a link. If you want to join in on the conversation, join in. So hopefully some of you do that. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. And of course, we'll have some other peeps in here as well that that'll be joining. So let's see. All right, cool. Let's see who else. There we go. Just sending to some people that were, that are part of the vodka stream that might be showing up. Good times. But let's see what is happening. Indiana Jake, good to see you, bud. Let's go. Versus Seed. Hey, what's happening? We got Robin Zilla right here. What's going on? Ahoy, hoy, Mr. Jason McKenzie. We got Taladia Plays, and we got James right here. Good to see you, buddy. Manalo Rivera. Nice to see you. We got Cal. What is happening? Ayer. Oh, man. Some little Batman Easter eggs in there. Yep. There's some villains in there for sure. Of course, I got the Cleveland. We got the Guardians and the Yankees playing right now. Guardians currently up 1-0. It's only the third inning, so we got a fun little game happening right there. What's going on, Darkness? Good for Creature Commandos, I must say. Yeah, I dug the trailer. I dug it. What's going on, Phil? Good to see you. I've got Azteca, but yeah, I dug the trailer, so not too shabby. Hey, Dave, I'm doing good. Just watched the new trailer for Creature Commandos. My thoughts on it? Good trailer. Yeah, it actually was a fairly good trailer. We got Miss Lisa right here. What's happening, Lisa? Good to see you as always. And then, of course.
My face. Stole my face. You mind got my true flashback?
There you go. There's your drop, Miss Jackson. What's going on, Music Man? Good to see you. We got Naval right here. Good to see you again. Just realized that Linda Cardellini, who's in Creature Commandos, was Velma. Yep. She was in Grandma's Boy. She was in Freaks and Geeks. She's been around. She's been around for a bit. Always had a little crush on her, not gonna lie. What's going on, Lane? I mean, Gunn talking about how every project will both sort of its own, but at the same time connected. I dig that. Cool. See, there you go. Lane. See, this is what I appreciate about you, Lane. Is I know you go hard on Mr. Jimmy Guns, but when you hear something that you like to hear, which is this, and I think a lot of people. I know you don't think that he's still a good fit for Superman. I get it, but at least you could find, something positive. It's always good to find something positive, Go Cleveland. Yep, I'm going for Cleveland as well, like their manager. Hey, look at that. You gifted 10? Holy Lord. Jason, you madman, you. I love it. Appreciate that. Absolutely appreciate that. Let's see. If you want to join, hey, there you go, buddy. Because I see you out there, Andy. If you want to join tonight, by all means. Let's see. Get everybody. Yeah, get everybody that's doing that. So excited. All right. Trailer was good. Thank you. We're all rock. There you go. What's going on, RJ? Good to see you, buddy. What's going on, Hunter Iggy? How you doing? I'm doing pretty good. I like this Flash movie myself. I think it's a very It's a very entertaining movie. Like, and being in the DC universe, I'm like, yeah, I mean, I get it. It's like there's some things that are, that I have issues with, sure, but I can watch that start to finish. I've watched it like 5, 6 times. I really enjoy the freaking movie. It's just an enjoyable watch for me. It's definitely an enjoyable watch. All right, who else we got here? Wait, Linda yep. She wasn't on the panel. They just talked about how she's in Creature Commandos. So I was hoping the Superman. Yeah, I think a lot of us were kind of hoping for some more things, but it just did not fully happen. All right, let me see here. Okay, we got that. Oh, whoops, hit the wrong thing here. Okay. All right, I'm gonna send out the invite. So if you're a member of the channel or you're part of the Patreon, I'm gonna send the invite right now. If you want to join up, by all means. Let's see, do that. Stream link. All right, so send it out to there, and then now the Patreon. Let's see, link. All right, just doing that right now. Come join. It's kind of funny too. Is like, let's see, we got that. Let's see, oh, not all of them. It's funny too because I'm continuing my spooky watch. I'm continuing my spooky movie watch right now, and I put on, of course, Nightmare on Elm Street, which of course is it's a total classic, obviously. But it's kind of funny too because when you watch those these classic horror movies, I mean, what drives them is just how, I guess you could say, almost how bad they can be. And I mean, like, A Nightmare on Elm Street is fantastic when it comes to just the character itself and how it's all crafted, what Wes Craven did. But at the same time, like, sometimes you start, like, when you start looking at it through a lens of like, well, wait a minute, the story doesn't, the acting, some of the dialogue, you start doing that, but at the same time, it's like you don't want to like full on nitpick all that stuff. It's just, it's all fun and then of course I put on Freddy's Revenge, the second one, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so bad it's good. It's so bad it's good. Freddy's Revenge, the second one, they did a good job. And I was like, I even wondered, I was like, did Wes Craven actually direct any of the sequels? He did not. He wrote the sequels, he co-wrote the sequels, but he did not direct. He didn't direct. He only directed the first one and the New Nightmare. He directed the New Nightmare, which of course was that meta version where the Freddy movies exist, and then Freddy comes through the movies, which I thought was actually a pretty cool way to. That was like came out in like the mid '90s or something like that. But I was like, oh wow, Wes Craven. I forgot that he did not direct like all the other sequels that came out. And of course, in the horror genre, you're just obviously they're always like sequel. Let's keep the sequels going. But yeah, I just forgot how ridiculous Freddy's Revenge is. It's a good concept. I like the concept, but there are some things in there I was like, holy shit. I mean, you literally have a dude that gets offed in the shower after he gets his bare ass slapped by a towel violently. It's like, what? He gets strung up in the showers. The gym teacher dude, he gets strung up in the showers. He gets his clothes ripped off him. And then, like, Freddy somehow, just makes a towel, like, just slap him in the ass so hard that it causes blood to come out of his ass cheeks. And then, of course, he starts, like, slicing him up and he dies. I'm just like, holy shit. Crazy. Anyways, that was just what I've been watching today is Freddy movies. That's my watch this week, or this weekend, I should say. All right, let's start bringing some people in here. What's going on, Phil? Long time no see.
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Been a little bit, but
a couple hours, something like that.
I know, right? But now I was just talking about how I'm doing like a Freddy watch this weekend, and when I get done with this after the game, I'm gonna watch. Arguably, one of the probably the best sequel is Dream Warriors when it comes to.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I think
For
Dream
sure.
Warriors is like up there with the first one. But man, I was like, I just got done watching Freddy's Revenge, and I'm like, holy shit, forgot
that one. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I kind of skip over the second one sometimes, and I just go
It's
straight.
it's not terrible. I mean, it's so bad it's good. That's the way I explain it. But
sure, yeah.
And I like the concept of like, this kid is, this family moved into that house, and then the kid starts having the nightmares. But I mean, I feel sorry for that actor who plays like the main kid.
Yeah,
because he's sweaty. He has to be like always. He's sweaty through like 80% of the movie.
Yeah, like almost every frame of that movie, he's just drenched
in sweat, and it's like damn.
Yeah,
but yeah, Dream Warriors is like up there, and I'm gonna watch it after we get done here tonight for sure.
But, I love Dream Warriors. Like,
oh, it's so good. And we have there's a young Larry Fishburne that's in there.
There's Lawrence Fishburne and Patricia Arquette's in it.
Patricia Arquette, that's right.
Yeah, that's a good one. And also, there's a guy named Phil who gets strung up like a puppet.
Yep. Oh yeah, when he's like doing that, and he's like, oh yeah. Oh god, and you see like Freddy like doing. Oh yeah, it's such a good fucking sequel.
And then the other blonde gets her head smashed through the TV.
Yep. Yeah.
That
They bring it back when it comes to Dream Warriors. I mean, nothing against Freddy's Revenge. It's fine, but there's things in there I'm like, I don't know. It's interesting. They take some interesting steps when it comes to that. Anyways, we got RJ joining right now. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How you doing?
Good. Just living life, work stuff going on. I'm getting transferred to a new department at my job, and I'm getting ready for that for next week. Just a lot going on with that.
Oh, nice.
But yeah,
real life shit. Yeah.
So,
you'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Just I found out like an hour before, so it's just kind of like, oh, okay. You gotta love it when that happens at work. But
of course,
yeah,
that's the way it always is. And then of course we have. Look at this angle. What the hell's going on with this angle?
Artistic.
It's called an iPad. What can I say?
That too.
Are you not? You're not in the cave. You're not in the cave.
I'm not even in my own house.
Oh, is that what's happening?
Okay.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah. I'm see if I could doing a little. Okay, see if we get the camera. This is always messing around with the camera on an iPad, especially when it's like an iPad.
Well, the lens is so tiny.
It is so tiny. Let's see. There we go.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm
Your house sitting. You're watching the dog.
I'm watching the dog. Yes.
Nice.
Literally watching the dog.
Yes.
So
we got what, a golden retriever? Is that a golden retriever?
Yes, that's a golden retriever.
Dude,
yes.
Golden retrievers. If I were to get a dog, and eventually I do think I will, I'd either get. If I was gonna get a big dog, I would definitely go golden retriever because they're like the nicest dogs in the world.
They are sweet as all get out, and that is definitely the way to go. The only downside is that they shed like a mofo.
Yes, that is the bad part because one of my good friends they had a golden retriever, Colby, and sadly he passed away last year. But sweetest dog in the world. But yeah, every time I went to their house, anytime that I'd go to their house, and then if we were gonna go out, we'd have to do the fucking. Do you have a roller? And I'd have to roll, do the whole lint roller thing to get all the fucking hair off of off my clothes. But other than that, golden retrievers are awesome.
I just realized part of the problem with an iPad Pro is that the camera is here, but yet when you if you do it for keyboard, you do it portrait, you do it landscape. So the camera should really be on the side and not on the top. This is not conducive.
It's working though. It's fine.
That's fine.
It's fine. And then we got Taladia Plays. What's happening, man?
Hey, what's up, Dave and everyone? How you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah, I'm doing well. I watched Halloween with William and Brad today.
Oh, that's right. They were doing that watch today, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, they were.
That's fun. Yeah, I'll probably put on, before the spooky season ends, I'll probably put on at least the first one. Yeah, probably watch the first one. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what? I like Season of the Witch. I'm not gonna lie. I actually like that movie.
You've talked about that before. And
Yeah. It's an anthology. I get it. They were trying to go, hey, let's make it an anthology, but I kind of like it, with that creepy fucking, that
I know
and then, of
that.
course, the masses.
I remember that from my childhood. Like,
Yeah.
I never saw the movie, but for some reason, the music and the pumpkin mask thing just like sticks with you. It haunts you.
It does. And then, of course, it was melting kids' faces. Like, what the fuck? It was dark.
Yeah, they were
dark.
trying something different,
Yeah. Well, they were trying to
took
make
this
it an
way.
anthology, but then people probably didn't accept it. So then all of a sudden they like the fourth
What?
one.
People don't accept things?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
What? You can't do that. I mean,
You're kidding.
yeah.
See, but I miss the anthology horror movies, like stuff like Creepshow back in the day.
Creepshow
Like those
was
kind of
great.
movies. I wish they would make more of those. I guess we have VHS. I guess that's kind of like the modern version of Creepshow in a way.
I haven't watched the new VHS Beyond, I think it's called. But I love those movies too. I mean, obviously, the found footage aspect obviously adds like a little to it. So
Yeah.
and they do a good job when it comes to that. We're bringing in Cal. What's happening, Cal?
What's going on? Can you hear me good?
Yep,
Yeah.
you're good.
Awesome. I have a really shitty mic from Timu, so I
Eh,
wasn't
it's
sure
all
if it
good.
was gonna work. What's going on?
Thanks for joining. You're somebody who's new to joining these streams.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Yeah, I've been a lurker for quite some time. Whenever I get a chance to come by, I'll talk in the chat and stuff. So I thought I'd see if we all would just chill or whatever.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man.
Cheers.
Appreciate you coming. I like how cheers to you. What are you drinking?
Tonic, Lone River Ranch Water.
Oh yeah, okay.
Blackberry
You got ranch
flavor?
water.
Yeah, trying to
Nice.
watch my figure, you know.
You got to. Yeah, I got the Cutwater like vodka mule thing happening right now.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
sweet.
which I like. It's refreshing. We got James right here. What's happening?
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
What's going
Good.
on?
Hey, what's up, James?
Good to see you.
Oh, good to see you too.
How you doing? What are you drinking, Scott? Tea?
An Arnold Palmer.
Oh, okay. There you go. What is in an Arnold Palmer? Like, refresh
It's
my
tea
memory.
and lemonade.
Yeah. Okay. So it is a tea. Yeah.
It's actually the Arizona.
Oh, they actually have.
Oh, it's diet too. Nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Dude, your
It's,
camera is crazy because it like moves. Your
It
camera.
moves. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's only 10 calories. So
Nice.
Interesting.
That's cool.
and this whole thing only cost me $3.
$3 right there. I like that. What's going on, Carrie?
Hey guys.
How you doing?
Yeah, I was gonna say I said this before. We're all wearing Superman shirts. That's like that's
Yeah.
It's weird. Like,
I know this was not planned. I didn't say like everybody wear a Superman shirt. I mean, I'm wearing. I mean, I have a. There is.
I'm the
Superman
oddball,
right
man.
up there. I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I do have like a Superman logo right there. But yeah, this was definitely not planned. But I kind of it's kind of cool how that.
yeah.
I also love how we're all wearing a different Superman shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Remember
that.
that,
That's
Hey, look. Nice.
Yeah, I know. I got to get the new Superman shirt. I know DC shop has like they released. I want to get the DC logo shirt as well.
Yeah.
But I know they just unveiled all that stuff.
Yeah, there's like stuff
Yeah.
on top now.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
I wouldn't
And
mind
then,
getting a
of course,
DC
we have Eric.
Superman.
Eric's joining in.
Hey man, how you doing? You think I was not gonna turn this one down? I saw the notification. I was like, oh crap, are we doing it today?
Yep, we're doing it. We're doing it.
All right.
So cheers. Good to see you.
Absolutely. Vanilla Coke tonight.
You got vanilla Coke.
Mm-hmm.
Vanilla Coke. He's getting crazy tonight, folks.
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, ever since like John Travolta like ordered it in a Pulp Fiction, I was like, hey, yo, you know what? I'll try it out. And I tried. I was like, darn, this is good.
My
Pulp
favorite is
Fiction,
cherry
didn't
vanilla.
they just celebrate like an anniversary of Pulp
Yeah, it's the
Fiction? 30 or
anniversary
30
this year.
Yes, he did.
30 years.
Yes, he did.
30 years.
Well,
Yeah,
by the
I
way-
think November in my area they're doing like an anniversary screening of it, so I'm definitely gonna go see that.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of that little sequence, isn't it kind of funny how like there's a whole joke in that sequence about like the $5 milkshake, and I'm like, that joke does not land nowadays because a $5 milkshake is normal.
Well, now it is.
Yeah, I know. Now it is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got your little droid right there.
Yes, sir. R7D6. So I realized like after last stream, I was like, oh crap, my boy hasn't been on these streams for a while, so might as well.
He hasn't made an appearance in a little bit. That's for sure.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, are we talking about like our favorite horror films then? Or?
I mean, we can. We could definitely do that. There
I
is.
hear about that.
Somebody
I
has
don't
an
think
echo.
it's me.
Oh, we've got an echo.
Whoa, someone's got an echo.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, I hear it, but it's probably not me.
Let's see. Test. No. Let's see. Who's got the echo? No. Test.
Hello?
Test. What the heck is that echo? Ooh. Hold on. Test. I know everybody's muting their mics. What is that? Oof. That's a big echo too. Wait. All right. It's gone now. Phil, was that your? No, I don't think it was yours. No.
Let's try it.
Usually, yeah, I know you're Phil. You're good. Is it Scott? Is it you?
Oh boy.
Yeah. Test.
What's my AirPods? My AirPods disconnected.
Oh, is that?
I was picking up the microphone was picking up the sound because I couldn't get it to come out of these.
Okay, that was like a predominant echo. It was like a big time echo. So
it's funny. Like you guys were talking about how in Dream Warriors, Lawrence Fishburne made an appearance. Like, oh, here's one for you though. In the first Nightmare on Elm Street, who made an appearance like in the credit list and introducing?
Johnny Depp.
Yep.
Yeah. Best part of the movie was when he died.
It's a good death. It is. It's iconic.
I will say
iconic death, yeah.
I will say this, a little confession. Even though like Dreams Warriors is considered one of the greats, I'm kicking myself about this. I still have not seen it. I've only seen the first two Nightmares. But having said that, though, like I did get a kick. Like while 2 is not as good as the first, there are some great moments in it. Like obviously, like when Freddy is like when he first shows up like in person to the boy, and he's like, "Hey, we could rule the world together. You got the body, and I got the brain."
There's some cool moments in the second one. And he tears off like his head, and you see his like brain. It's got some moments, but but at the same time, I was just like, whew, there's some just the way they execute some of those moments. I was like, wait, what's happening right now? Wait, all of a sudden, like Freddy can just like, show up, and there's like this party that's happening, and all of a sudden he's just like gonna take all these kids down at this party. And boil the water, and everything's like the hot dogs start exploding. It's just kind of like, whoa!
That's
what is happening.
That's what threw me off. I've only seen the first 3, but when I watched the second one, I was kind of like, "What are we doing here?"
Yeah. And then of course there's like, and to connect it with the first one, they're like, "Oh, we found the diary from Nancy that was just like randomly somewhere here, and she just left it behind, and nobody found it until now." And now, like, hey, what did Nancy have to say? It's like that's how they connect it with the first one. It's like,
wait a minute. So Freddy is able to like pull himself out of the dream world and manifest himself out in the real world, like
through this guy now. And I'm like, all right, that's an interesting concept, but
I was like, something doesn't add up here to me. I don't know what's going on.
So I guess I'll ask the question then: who has the better sequels, the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise or the Friday the 13th franchise?
See, I've always more been about Freddy. I've always been more about Freddy.
In terms of the sequels, not the original, just the sequels. Who had better sequels?
Well, the thing is,
Freddy. I would say still Freddy.
That's tough because
it's tough for me
because
the first are amazing.
Nightmare has one good sequel, maybe two in my opinion. Whereas I'm of the mind that Friday the 13th 1 through 6 are not bad at all.
Okay.
So I would personally
hot.
say Friday the 13th.
I actually I haven't. These are ones I haven't seen all of them through, but like around Friday the 13th, like most of them weren't on streaming except for the rebooted version, which came out like 2009 or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, so I saw that and I was like, actually, I kind of dug this one, and that one is like hated by people who are like big fans of the Friday the 13th franchise. But I'm because I'm not as emotionally invested with it. I was fine. Plus, it has Danielle Panabaker in it, and I've always had a big crush on her for a while. So,
Yeah.
I mean, of the rebooted horror film franchises, it's probably the best one. It's the best made one.
My favorite is the one where he goes to space.
That's Jason X.
Oh, Jason X.
Jason X is so funny.
That's so bad it's good. That's even worse than
It's
Nightmare
genuinely
2,
hilarious.
But it is genuinely hilarious how bad that film actually is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're going to do the whole so-and-so in space, you might as well go full on.
I want to know what kind of drugs the pitch meeting, everyone at the pitch meeting was on. I just genuinely want to know what that conversation was like. You know what? Let's take Jason, put him in space. Why not? What was that conversation you would like?
Freddy vs. Jason is the best work.
Oh yeah, that's like an action film. That's more of an action film, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, some of the lines don't hold up today, though. Wasn't
that the one where Kelly Rowland was in it?
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Yep. From Destiny's Child, and she gets slammed into like a poster. I don't know. She gets off pretty gory.
Yeah.
So, and hey, we got Axel joining also.
Hey,
as well.
guys, what's up?
Axel?
Not much.
No camera today?
Yeah, no camera. No camera today.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for joining. We're just talking about horror movies right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I finally caught up on the Scream franchise, so I just watched Scream 6 today, and
I haven't watched the last one. I've never been big on the Scream franchise.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, so
Scream 6 is
I
great.
really like the first
enjoyed it
one.
a lot. 5 and 6 I thought were surprisingly far better than I thought they deserved to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what's nice about
What was-
like when it comes to horror sequels is like, yeah, I mean, there's not going to be. I mean, I did a rewatch of like the Saw franchise last weekend, and I think the first 3 are a nice tight trilogy, you know. And I thought they did a great job with like the 2 and 3 and how it all got tied up together. But then when they kept going after, you know, spoiler alert, John Kramer, you know, gets killed, and they kept on going. I'm like, all right, cool. You're keeping it alive. And then I jumped to Saw 3D because I never saw Saw 3D, and I still wish I never did because it was pretty goddamn awful. Cool moments, I will say that, but it was just And then when they came back with Jigsaw, I thought very creative of how they kept him going on that one. Spiral was not that great, and then I saw Saw X, and I'm like, oh, you guys turned him into a fucking MCU. You guys did MCU kind of shit right here. It's
Now
like,
making him the hero, yeah.
Yeah, they totally made him into like a hero, and they're like, this fits right in between Saw 1 and 2, so you're gonna accept that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it was like terrible. I actually respect it, but I also fucking hated it. Also at the same time, I was like, you guys really freaking, you guys pulled it off though. I get it. Hey, I'm all for it, but it was just like,
I mean,
man.
Isn't it like it's both between Saw 1 and 2 and a prequel 1 because he had just been diagnosed with cancer, so now he's...
There's a little bit of both, I guess. Yeah, something like that. But, I mean, they really hit you hard with like, oh, yeah, John Kramer, he's dying. He got the diagnosis, and then it's just like you're you're really feeling sympathy for him. And then, of course, he goes down to Mexico to do this, you know, because he hears about this revolutionary like treatment, and then it's all a scam, and then he goes, well, now I'm gonna fuck everybody up who was part of the scam, and he does. And it's just kind of funny because it's like, yeah, I mean, he's literally like it almost like he could be a hero for hire to take on like some evil corporation, and he like saves a kid. I mean, they really hit it harder. Like, oh yeah, John Kramer is a fucking hero. And I was like,
I mean, it's always been like one of the things that made Kramer like one of the best like horror villains is that he is the one that perhaps the one that you can most see where he's coming from. And in a way, you can almost root for him in a sense, even though like he does some pretty effed up stuff. But it's like you can see where he's coming from. Yeah. And Yeah.
Well, that's what was always great about him was like it's like he was trying to do, but he was trying to like do good in a way. And he was anybody who was like his victim was like, they were like fucked up people, and he was trying to like turn their lives around, which okay, cool, but it's still sick. And in Saw X, like literally they had to have him because obviously they're and I'm trying not to be as too spoiler when it comes to people who haven't seen Saw X, but in the first act they're doing like this whole thing of like, hey, we're feeling sympathy for John, and then he sees like this piece of shit nurse dude who's about to like steal some shit. So then all of a sudden it cuts to that nurse guy being in a saw trap, but it's not real because it's just John thinking about it. And it's like, because they had to have a saw trap in the first act. Yeah. So that's how they, and I was like, again, it was just like, this movie is diabolical because they are just like, well, yeah. And then of course, like Tobin Bell's 80 years old now. And they could just pass that off as, hey, yeah, he's supposed to be, 60, but he's dying of cancer. So, and I'm just like, oh wow, you guys really covered your asses when it came to fitting this story where it is. So that's why I was like, I love and hate this.
I think for me though, honestly, like you mentioned Spiral, that to me was just such a disappointment because you look at that cast and you look at the idea for what that movie was trying to do. It's just like, it just felt so underwhelming in a lot of ways. We're just like, this could have been so good. And just like,
having Chris Rock as like some burnout like detective.
Yeah, and you got Sam Jackson in there too.
You got Sam Jackson as his dad, and it's like, oh wow, the pieces should be here, but why is it not working? It just didn't. Yeah. I remember just walking out of there just being really disappointed. Like, man, it just didn't work.
Have any of you seen Smile 2 yet?
I haven't.
Okay, I was just curious because I've heard nothing but good things, and I'm really excited to see that one.
I mean, like the first one.
I mean, like honestly, like I said, like earlier this week, like I was kind of annoyed by how the first one ended because it is for the same reason that I didn't really care for how the Final Destination franchise turned out. Where it's like at first, it's like, okay, if you solve this puzzle for like how to beat this evil force, then you will survive. But then eventually, like, spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen the movies who've been out for some years, eventually those original survivors do die. Yeah. So in this case, I'm like, so at the end of the movie, I'm like, well, that was a wasted 2 hours.
You're talking about the Final Destination where it kind of just like catches up to the first one.
Yeah,
I thought that was a cool twist. I thought that was actually a really
it's a cool twist. It's a cool twist, but when you keep doing it, where it's like, where they all die anyway, so what was the point? And then again, that was how I felt about like the first Smile. It's like, well, that was a waste of a couple hours.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like the Final Destination franchise, I really enjoy.
Yeah, I enjoyed it until as they kept doing it, where those people that survived earlier will eventually die off, and when they kept doing it, the more I was like, wow, this franchise was so good, and then it got more and more pointless.
Isn't like Devin Siwa or Sawa supposed to come back for like a new remake or something like that?
No, I think he teased something like on his Twitter.
I watched that.
Like he was like down, like he was down for it. Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's where they take that franchise because we're supposed to get a new one, right? Aren't they making it?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're making a new one.
So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like they do something where because he was only in one of them technically too, I guess you could say. But it was kind of weird that he didn't show up in the second one, but they did a good job of like how, because they had the girl, I forgot what her name is. She was in the second one. And then, and the way that they, Ali Lauder. Yeah.
I remember it's such a long time ago.
Yeah. But I mean, I like how they did. Again, you could be very creative when it comes to these horror movies. And kudos to, because again, you can make them cheap and you could keep on, coming up with something. Like I said, the fact that Saw, when James Wan and Lee Winnall were like, hey, we want to make a cheap horror movie. How do we make it cheap? Well, it could take mainly place in like a bathroom. And they came up with the idea, and it costs like, I don't even know how much it costs, like $1 million, $2 million, maybe, whatever the fuck. And the movie, it was 100,000.
Pretty sure it was 100,000.
The first one.
Are you kidding me?
I think it might have. I don't know. Somebody look it up. I mean, we could look it up.
Because like
Gary always charges that little.
I mean, I could see Saw being 100,000 if it was just in the bathroom, but it's not just in the bathroom.
How much?
Sorry, I'm wrong. I'm thinking of something else.
1.1 million.
It was
there.
a million. Yeah. But
sorry,
see,
I'm wrong.
but like the opening weekend, it made like probably 4 times that. I think I don't even know what it was. But I
Total
mean,
box office was $100 million.
You know what a really
Oh,
good success is? Was Paranormal Activity was only made for $15,000.
yeah, Paranormal Activity, same thing.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they made like $200 million.
Yeah, it made a shit ton. I mean, that's the thing is like you could do a lot, especially when it came to that whole thing, the footage aspect. And then of course they kept. I mean, obviously, when they keep on making sequels, it gets to a point where it's like, all right, this is not working anymore. But at the same time, they're just going to keep on doing it. I mean, again, even going back to the Saw franchise, 4 to 8, I just go, ugh, you guys are just you're keeping it alive somehow. And then when it came, then they finally were like, all right, let's take a break. And well, I guess that's 4 through 7 because 8 was Jigsaw and then Spiral and then Saw X. But again, Spiral was just a weird kind of spin-off thing that just didn't really work in and of itself too. But Saw X does work, even though I just go, I don't like what you did, but I appreciate it. But when it comes to Paranormal Activity, what was the last one? The last one was, what was that one?
I forgot
called?
they came out with a bunch of sequels to that.
That was
Don't
years
remember.
ago.
They did like a bunch of them. There's like one that was like a spin-off, like what was it called? The Marked Ones or something. There's
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's like
That's crazy.
I've lost track of those movies to be honest. Like I just like after the first one, I was just like, I'm good.
And I have a feeling that Smile is going to be one of those that we're going to get like probably 4 or 5 more sequels. It just seems like people are like,
you know what though? It seems like with the
works.
Smile franchise though, like I mean, the second movie people are saying might be even better than the first one.
That's all I keep on hearing.
Was the main character in the first?
As long as the ending's better.
Yeah.
think
I
she's,
keep on.
you know,
Like most of the reviews I've read is people saying that it's better than the first. I've
See,
read some.
what's
I've
great,
read some
though-
that look that have been pretty bad. But
Yeah,
anyway.
but the thing is though, the thing that I loved about Smile too, at least in the marketing, is like totally different kind of movie than the first one. Second movie's about a pop star. It's like in the world of entertainment and Hollywood, like doing like a horror movie set, and that Spear about a singer, and like really interesting ideas where like you use the same formula just with a completely different setting and main character. Like you change it up to where it feels fresh in a way.
Right. She's also the Pink Power Ranger from the 2017 movie too.
Oh yeah.
Was she in the first one too? So
No.
it's like,
No, she was not. She was not in the first one.
No, the first movie follows
Kevin
Rose
Bacon's
Cotter,
kid.
Kevin Bacon's daughter, right?
Yeah.
Character's name is Rose Cotter, but yeah.
Yeah.
She did a good job.
No, I thought it was good. I mean, the ending was fucked up, of course, but and that's and it was gross and weird, and it was a cool movie. I wanted to see it
anyway.
but I stayed home and watched baseball instead.
Yeah.
By the way, I also still didn't watch Hellboy because because I thought I could rent it on Amazon. No, I had to buy it for $20, and I'm like, I ain't gonna buy this fucking movie. So sorry, guys, I didn't watch Hellboy, Crooked Man, because I thought I could rent it at least and for like $4-5. But I'm not gonna spend $20 on a movie I'm not really looking forward to.
I'm salty. I'm salty that they didn't come out with part 3 with Guillermo del Toro and freaking.
Oh yeah. I think a lot of us.
I'll be honest with you. Like, I was very upset. I saw the David Harbour one, and I just was like, yeah,
it wasn't that great.
Nah.
I tried rewatching it a few months ago. It was just
But hey, I mean, like we're gonna apparently we are gonna get Constantine too. So hey, maybe someday the stars may align.
Hopefully we get it. Jeez.
Yeah. We're gonna get a Constantine 2 with long hair because I don't think Keanu's gonna cut his hair.
Probably not. I don't think Keanu will ever cut his hair again.
Right? Yeah.
He'll probably have
Has
a beard.
Norman
too.
Reedus ever cut his hair? I swear, I've never seen him with short hair.
Who?
Norman
Reedus?
Reedus.
Oh yeah.
I think maybe in Boondock Saints.
In Boondock Saints, he has short hair. Yeah. Which we're supposed to get a third movie of that too.
Right, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we're supposed to get a third one of that. That's so funny how like
There was a firefight.
The sequels take forever for that franchise. Jesus Christ. like every 10 years we get a Boondock Saints sequel apparently, because Sean Patrick Flannery, who was in Saw 3D, poor guy. And that's why it was funny, because I was like, man, Sean Patrick Flannery. And I started looking, and I saw the headline. Oh yeah, he gives an update on Boondock Saints 3. I'm like, oh, they're actually gonna do it. Hopefully, because I like the first two. First one's fucking awesome.
I can't remember part 2.
Yeah.
Part 2 was I don't remember it as much, but the first one was just fucking fantastic. It was one of those cult classics. I didn't watch it. Obviously, I didn't watch it in the theaters, but I remember just going to like a little like kickback when after it came out. I'm like, hey, we're gonna watch Boondock Saints. I'm like, what the fuck is that? It's awesome. You'll love it. And sure enough, I bought it like a week later. Yeah.
Speaking of Sean Patrick Flannery, and since this is Halloween season, have any of you seen Nefarious?
No.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, it's got Sean Patrick Flannery, and he plays this serial killer who is on death row, but he's claiming, oh, well, all this thing, like, I'm possessed by a demon, like I'm actually a demon. And so we're following this psychologist who's called in to diagnose whether he's criminally insane or not. And it's whole like a mind game between him and Sean Patrick Flannery to find out, is this guy serious or is he just trying to get out of death row?
Sounds pretty cool. I think I might have heard about that one.
Yeah. And one of the funny things is, like, it's an interesting film. Like, one of the funny things about it is, like, in the behind the scenes, they're talking about how they wrote the serial killer character to be more like a Hannibal Lecter type, more of an intellectual guy. But if you watch the film, Flannery plays him more like Heath Ledger. There's like a nod to Heath Ledger's Joker, the way he does it. Like he's like he's kind of a douche, but at the same time, like he's like, when he like has that mind game, it's like, the mind game's pretty cool. It's like the high point of the film, I say.
Well, that's a pretty cool concept. When did it came out recently?
A couple of years ago. I don't know exactly when. It was pretty.
Might have to look that one up. That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
But spooky season. I mean, right now I'm all about Freddy. Right now I'll get into the Halloweens. I'll get into the Evil Deads. I mean, let's go around the horn. What is your go-to spooky movie season, Phil?
Halloween, 1978, John Carpenter. Every Halloween I watch it.
There you go. So that's your number one. RJ.
If it's not Halloween, I'll probably say original Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay. There you go. Scott, if you're listening. Scott, there you go.
Honestly, I would probably I go with Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep, yeah, that's a good one.
Because for me,
director's cut, of course.
A director's cut, of course. But once again, the director's cut is a better version of the movie, but it's also a movie that when you watch it, you don't like the 30 minutes doesn't like jump out at you.
No,
like, you'll watch it. You'll watch it and you go, now where's the extra 30 minutes? Like because the theatrical version is so good. Like it's a film that didn't quote need a director's cut, but once you watch the director's cut, for me, especially as a fan of the book, it's just like, it's just different enough for me to go, I like this version more. Because a lot of the movies you guys have been talking about are just not my thing. But you give me a really good Stephen King adaptation, and my butt is in the seat. I was talking to Pud 333 yesterday, and he saw Misery for the first time. And I was like, dude.
I haven't seen it. I still never seen Misery.
Misery is one of those.
I've never seen it.
Tense. It's so tense.
No. Kathy Bates won an Oscar for that movie. Yeah. And think about that, guys. It's a horror movie that an actress or an actor or anyone in the film won an Oscar. I mean, Silence of the Lambs won stuff, but it's more psychological thriller. But Misery was like, oh no, it was my very first experience ever with anything Stephen King was watching that movie. And and what I love telling people is that no matter how messed up you think the movie is, the book is worse.
Oh, of course, the book is always worse. Yes.
And I gotta say, like, of all of his books, like, I admire him as a writer in general, but I just really admire the concept of Misery. It's a horror film about writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's so good about it. Carrie, what's your go-to?
Well, quickly piggyback off of, well, mine's different, but to piggyback off of Scott, and I've never read any Stephen King, so I've only enjoyed like the film adaptations and whatnot. But Doctor Sleep made me enjoy the Shining movie. When I seen the Shining, I didn't like it because one of my things for watching horror is I can't deal with. I don't enjoy it if evil, especially if it's like a supernatural kind of evil, if the evil wins or is like put down somehow. I can't enjoy it. So I didn't like The Shining for a long time. But then getting Doctor Sleep, the movie, I like Doctor Sleep better, but it allows me to enjoy The Shining, knowing how one leads into the other. So
well, and Carrie, to that point, the funny thing is that if that's your reason for not liking The Shining the movie, then you would love
The book. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, there was like a notorious incident that happened behind the scenes, like during the making of The Shining, where because the book has a more of a positive ending, Kubrick actually called up Stephen King, and it was very curt. He was like, "Hey, Stephen, do you believe in God?" And King's like, "Yeah, I thought so." Click.
Yeah, I heard that Stephen King did not like The Shining.
He hates that movie.
He hates it.
Yeah, and Flanagan's talked about a lot of that, and that's in interviews and behind the scenes stuff. So as far as my favorite goes, it's The Conjuring and the Conjuring franchise.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, they got the final one the final movie that just went in production right now.
Filming. Yeah, they just started filming it.
Yeah.
No, it's a good franchise. They've done good. I mean, not everything's been a winner, but I thought like when they went to Annabelle Creation, when David F. Sandberg, joined that, I thought Annabelle, the first one, the first Annabelle solo movie was kind of, it wasn't.
Yeah, it's not so good.
But then when they went to Creation and David F. Sandberg, I actually
Much better
walked out
movie.
going, "Holy shit!" Like that. That fucking worked. That worked for me.
That one was well done, but again, it's hard for me to like it because the evil wins. The evil carries on. But I like Annabelle Comes Home a lot more.
Okay, yeah.
Because of how it's tied in with the Warrens. And I've liked the Nun movies, to be honest. I've liked both of those.
Those have been all right.
I wouldn't mind getting a third one and tying it all back to the Warrens and stuff like that.
True. Yeah. James, what's your go-to spooky movie?
Oh well, it's probably my favorite film of all time. Is The Exorcist. I think it's a perfect film. I love it. I was rewatching it last night actually, coincidentally, and it's just like it takes it just so seriously, disregarding like the supernatural effects of it, like or the tone of it, like the way that they go to the psychologist and go to all these doctors, and they treat it like it's an actual thing that builds and builds and builds, and towards the very end, like the last 40 minutes is where it's like you start to see the demonic side of it. And I just think it's absolutely brilliant. I just don't think, like, in my opinion, it can be topped. And even the franchise was not great, except for the third one, which took it in a different direction, in more of like a noir setting, which was Legion. But yeah, I gotta say,
I remember that. Yeah.
I love The Exorcist so much. It's just and even the acting, like the girl, and they just went to an area, like especially in the 70s, that they just hadn't seen before. So the impact was just monumental at the time. Even now, still regarded as like one of the greatest horror films of all time.
Oh yeah, everybody always brings it up. Yeah, Cal, what's yours?
My favorite horror movie is Justice League. Now I'll be honest with you. I'm probably the only metalhead. That doesn't like watch horror, but I do like Dreamcatcher, which I believe is a Stephen King.
You know what?
Have you ever seen Dreamcatcher? Dreamcatcher's really good.
You know what? I like Dreamcatcher because of, the cast is great.
Fantastic.
And I like it does feel like a Stephen King movie because it's like, the four of them are grown adults and then they flash back And
Is it
when
not Stephen King? I thought it was. No,
it is
Maybe
Stephen
I-
King. It was
Oh,
a
okay,
Stephen
right,
King.
right.
I think it's a Stephen King short story.
Yeah,
No, it's
that it
a
was based
big
off
ass
of.
book. It's a big ass book.
Oh, it's a big
Oh.
ass book. Okay, I thought it for some reason it was a short story. I don't know why.
Nah, it's a
But,
fantastic movie. Like bringing the aliens and like the weird like stuff growing out of their bodies, and
yeah,
like having
Well-
that scene where like you're inside his mind. Like I was really
Yeah.
cool. Like I don't even necessarily think it's horror, but like probably
is.
the best.
I think it's like sci-fi horror
more like-
because yeah. I mean, it's funny because that movie. I remember when I first watched it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is like a small horror movie about these friends that know this special, other friend who is Donnie Wahlberg, by the way, which is kind of funny. It's funny how Donnie Wahlberg shows up in these random, like he was in Sixth Sense in the beginning, and then he was in Saw 2. And he played Diddits. And then there's like Morgan Freeman and fucking Tom Sizemore, who are like the
Right.
military dudes. And there's like a whole scene where they start bombing all the fucking aliens and try to bomb the ship. And it's like, whoa, this is like a total narrative shift of a small contained little horror movie with aliens to like, oh yeah, let's take helicopters and start bombing, like shooting missiles at all these. It was just it's kind of jarring, but I appreciate it because I'm like, I like
and it has
that.
like very little like visual effects.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
like,
it
you
just
don't
those
really
moments,
notice it as much.
those kind of moments where you
Yeah.
see that's like the most visual effects. But then there's like a really gross, dude that sits on the toilet moment.
Wow.
Very, very
gross.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. But
Yeah.
Taladia plays. What's yours?
Yeah. So mine was originally Friday the 13th. I used to watch that every Halloween. But
Yeah.
after watching the Halloween film and the second Halloween film with William and Brad, I think that's tops that now.
Second one. So the second one, the second old one.
In the hospital? Yes.
In the hospital.
In the hospital, yeah.
Okay.
Kind of.
That's
it
a good
was
one.
like for me, it was like the psychology of how Michael Myers is in the film, and it makes you know how Jamie Lee Curtis' character is. It's like it makes people think that are they going after her or is it going after everyone? But in actual fact, in the film, he goes after everyone basically.
Yeah.
But it's a definitely really good film, so that's why I think it tops the Friday the 13th. I'm afraid.
No, it's good. No, there's nothing wrong with that. That's like, it's kind of funny because when it came to the sequels where Jamie Lee Curtis came back, they kind of ignored the fact that Michael Myers was the brother. They were like, you know what? We're just gonna be. This is gonna be coming off of the first one, which I thought was kind of dumb because I actually liked the fact that they were related. I thought that added a little bit more to it. Like when Rob Zombie did his remakes, I thought that really really helped the story, to be honest, that the fact that they were related. I don't know. So then when they completely ignored it for, when the legacy sequels, I guess you could say, I thought that was kind of they could have kept it.
They didn't just ignore it. In the first of those, they even made it a point to throw shade at it. By
Yeah.
saying, it was almost conspiracy theory somebody came up with.
Yeah, it's like, well, I thought that was actually that added a little more depth to it. To be honest, but, yeah. What could we do? People making movies. Eric, what's your go-to?
Dracula.
Bram Stoker's.
Well, in fact, my three. I mean, my three, but I watch all three. It's like the Bela Lugosi one, the Francis Ford Coppola one, and Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Oh, okay. So you have a little
That's a
bit
good one.
mixture of like a lot. Okay.
Yeah. I love me some Dracula. I even have the original novel, which is pretty darn good. And of course, Coppola's is the truest to the book. I mean, yes, he added the whole romance thing, but the romance thing has been an element of different art incarnations of the Dracula franchise for a while. But still, it's even that aside, it is I've always really appreciated just the mythos of it, the mythology of it from the book onward is really good. Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Wes Craven's Dracula 2000.
Hell yeah.
with Gerard Butler
Yeah.
as Dracula.
Yes, I recently watched that movie again.
It's pretty good.
It's so cheesy and
Yes.
like it's a product of its time, but in the best way possible. It's like you could never make a movie like that today. You just
I'm
couldn't.
sorry. I remember watching it because I remember Jerry Ryan as the reporter who becomes who becomes one of the brides. But the twist at the end about
Yes.
that I'm not going to spoil it because y'all need to go watch it. But the twist
Yeah.
made me go,
Whoa!
It's so stupid but brilliant.
Yeah.
yes, right, yes.
It's great. It's a great moment when they reveal it.
Yeah. No, that's a good one to put on everybody's. And even like another one to put on our radar is John Carpenter's Vampires with fucking James.
Yeah.
Ooh, that movie is so fucking ridiculously stupid, but I love it. I don't know, there's something
It's John
about
Carpenter.
it. It's John Carpenter, you know. I mean, what are you gonna do? But I mean, that's a movie like that has a Dracula type in it, of course. And it's played by the dude who played Terry Silver in Karate Kid and Cobra Kai. And it's just got some, great moments. James Woods, a fucking douchebag. It's got one of the Baldwin. It's got Daniel Baldwin in it also. It's a pretty good flick. Axel, what's your favorite go-to spooky movie?
I don't really know what counts as a spooky movie, to be honest, but like I do enjoy. But like I did watch a few horror movies this year. I watched Child's Play, the first one. I watched.
That's a good one.
Good one.
The first Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. I watched that one and the newer one. And,
it's great how it became.
I thought those were really good, but like I really enjoyed. Does Corpse Bride count? Because like I thought that was a pretty spooky movie, but I enjoyed it a lot.
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, I guess it can.
I love how it's well made and stuff, and it is very. I don't know. It's just very peak.
I would say it's a spooky movie. Yeah, it's not like not like horror, but it's spooky. It fits in with the vibe of Halloween for sure.
Chucky went from like horror to like comedy horror.
Yeah,
just evolved into that, and it's pretty cool the way it happened.
Yeah, I haven't watched the series. I didn't watch the new. I watched the new one. I did watch the new one, the one where they kind of did the remake, where he, it's like a AI kind of thing. Where and I was like, it didn't work for me. It just did not work. I watched it. I was like, nah, this didn't. Go back to the whole fucking, the curse, the whole supernatural thing. Don't do this whole AI fucking thing. And Aubrey Plaza as the mom. I was like, Aubrey Plaza is the mom in this? I'm like, that doesn't even fit. I don't know. It just didn't fit for me. I did not like it. But I heard the TV show, the Chucky TV show that got canceled. Yeah. I heard that was really good, and then they canceled it.
Oh, it got canceled?
Yeah, it got canceled after like 2 seasons.
Oh, I thought it was coming back. No, because I thought because they brought back Resident Alien, but it's on USA now. But I thought that they brought back Chucky for another season.
No, it got canceled. It got canceled. Oh, wow. I mean, maybe somewhere else will pick it up, but I mean, it seemed like people were liking it. I hadn't watched it, but it seemed like people were liking it more than the fucking remake. That's for damn sure. But anyways, let's now veer over to first off, did anybody here, and excluding Scott, get any of the BVS McFarlane's?
You're just jealous.
I know.
Way too much money. Not my pay grade.
I tried to, but I couldn't. Even though Scott put that link there, it was gone instantly.
Oh, I know. Like when he would send me ones too, and then all of a sudden it was just like you click, sold out. I mean, which is good. You want to see that, and of course they probably have a limited batch first, because they don't know how much is going to sell. But I mean, those shits, they went out in like minutes.
But I mean, Zack Snyder's universe doesn't sell, so
well, it doesn't sell a certain thing.
It's not going to make them money, so it's weird.
No, but I mean, that's the thing. It's like that's what I you love to see that the fact that hey, these designs are awesome. So Scott, you got them all, right? Everyone. Do I have that drop?
Everyone.
I think I do have that drop. No, I don't have that drop. I thought I did.
No,
I do. There you go. I do have that drop.
Nice.
So he got them all, and yeah, like I said, like I know Chris got some, but nobody here got any of them.
I got some pre-orders in.
Which ones did you get, Carrie? Which ones?
So I got the Nightmare, Armored Batman, and Wonder Woman for myself, and I was able to get them by way of Amazon. So and then my brother may or may not have gotten me found a Superman Doomsday 2-pack.
Nice, Axel.
And that may or may not become a Christmas gift.
Nice.
So in that case, it looks like I got them all rounded up. And I didn't have a Wonder Woman McFarlane previous yet, so I'm glad they issued.
Yeah, I got the Wonder Woman 84 one, which
I got the one from Shazam too. You know, the one without the tiara.
Okay.
I was like, why did they do that?
That's right, they did make one for Shazam.
Yeah. Did you have the tiara in Shazam too?
That Dark Side one is amazing. Like,
yeah, the Dark Side one. There was one that
at first I didn't even know what the difference was until I actually looked it up, and I'm like, oh, he's more his coloring is more accurate to the movie. Plus, he's got a throne.
So, yeah. I mean, like
the Dark Side one's legit.
I already had the Dark Side one before, so I was like, I don't need to pay another.
Yeah, that's
if I had the money to throw away, I'd have everything.
I mean, Scott's the Dark Side Throne master out of all of us, so
I know he's got the wedding.
Like, if it's not, what's the point when Scott's got the best version anyway?
Yeah,
and recently these came. I got this one. This is Jenica, the fifth Ninja Turtle, and the Shredder.
Oh, you froze it. Oh, there you go.
You know
what?
Nice. Look at this. Look at this. It's so floppy. It's so floppy.
That ain't shredding anything just anytime soon.
That's neat.
So the only thing that I'm waiting on is whether or not there's going to be any way to individually order. They're supposed to be platinum editions, which for McFarlane are chase figures of Armored Batman, which the only difference is that the chase figure comes with the spear as an accessory for the Armored Batman. And then this is the interesting part. They did not announce a single BVS Superman. But they didn't. But there's a chase figure for BVS Superman that, as Dave shared on his Twitter, is the false god. It's
false
colored
god
to be the false god statue. But once again, traditionally with McFarlane, if you do a platinum edition of a figure, there is a standard edition of the figure that the platinum is supposed to be a variant of. So my only question is, where you get the Superman in the 2-pack with Doomsday, but where is the solo release so that the false god can be its variant? That's the question I have, unless they're going to do something unprecedented and release a platinum edition of a figure that they've never released individually. So I don't know. I'm kind of watching that because you have the two top figures you see. If you, David, if you circle right there, the bottom right-hand corner, you see the platinum sticker. And that's what lets you know that you've got a variant. Traditionally, the idea is that these Funko chases are just randomly inserted into the production line. So the concept is that if you go and hunt toy stores, you could just randomly find one and you don't pay anything extra. You're just paying the normal cost of the figure because it's just a variant of that figure that you could possibly find in the wild. Now, I have never found a platinum edition in the wild. The only platinum edition I have is Zack Snyder's Justice League Batman, which the platinum edition was goggles up.
Yeah.
Because the standard version was only goggles down.
Platinum.
And for the platinum. And I've got two of those because I did them on eBay, but one I got was missing the sticker. And then I got another one with the sticker. So in my mind, the idea was the sticker one will stay in the box and the one without the sticker would be one that I would actually like, crack open to mess with. But
I have a question regarding Superman. I mean, is there design-wise, would there be any difference between the BVS Superman and Zack Snyder's Justice League Superman?
The only difference figure-wise is that the BVS versions of these action figures have cloth capes.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
That's so much better.
For Zack Snyder's Justice League versions, they were the molded plastic capes. But I noticed. But if you look at the photos, it's really apparent with the armored Batman because his cape is even a little tattered and frayed at the ends of the cape. So yes, the big difference, the difference between the BVS version of Superman that you'll get in the 2-pack with Doomsday and the Target variant of Zack Snyder's Justice League, because the black and white suit was the standard figure for Superman. Yes, Dave's gonna.
That was hilarious. He was just like, fruit.
Well, it's like, why does Dave have that figure? He loves to give me shit, but
I gotta ask you a question, right? Do you have the in-art Batman versus Superman figure yet?
I do. I pre-ordered it. I didn't get it yet though.
Okay, sorry, Taladia Plays. I didn't quite hear the question. Could you ask it again?
Did you get the in-art Batman versus Superman figure, which they just recently released, which is similar to Hot Toys, but it's
I
like
will be honest. No, because I have to. I mean, the reason that I can buy the things that I buy is that I have to make very specific choices. Dave can give me shit all he wants, but it's because when you collect things, you have to make targeted decisions about what it is that you want. So, like for me, I will order actual Hot Toys. I only own one right now, but I have several that are on pre-order that I did the payment plans on. So I got more Hot Toys, a lot of Batmans coming my way. If they ever, and what I love is that what they've been doing is they've been going back and they've been doing 2.0 upgraded versions of previous BVS releases. So I'm getting the upgraded version of regular Batman. I'm getting the upgraded version of armored Batman. So if they ever release, and I've got the black suit Superman, because I did do the Zack Snyder's Justice League 2-pack with black suit Superman and Nightmare Batman. If they ever do like a 2.0 release of a BVS Superman in the red and blue, I will get that. But I have to just kind of say, I'll do Hot Toys and I'll look at them and I'll do McFarlane, because not only do I enjoy McFarlane action figures and they're actually quite reasonably priced considering and they're good quality for what you're getting. There is a part of me that just low-key respects Todd McFarlane for the entrepreneur that he is. Like, I didn't read Spawn books back in the 90s. I saw the movie in theaters.
I watched the cartoon, yeah.
And I caught some of the cartoon, but I didn't read the books until later. I like his Spider-Man stuff. Like, I have those I have that book, the Spider-Man, the Spider-Man #1.
Yeah.
I've got that. And
Torment. Yeah.
Yeah, Torment with Lizard.
Yep.
But there's just the way that he has hustle that I really appreciate. I did his Kickstarter for the remastered of the original Spawn figure, and I just did the Kickstarter for the remaster of the medieval Spawn figure, and I just like the way that he runs his business. Like, just from a consumer standpoint, he puts himself out there. He's enthusiastic. He makes a lot of products, and people I've actually said this privately to Dave, and I'll say it publicly here. I'm personally a little over the little snide comments about how like these BVS figures come out and everyone's like, "Oh, it's a quote unquote dead universe." Like, yes, the universe is dead, but Todd McFarlane looks at his bank account and his profit statements and go, "This shit, it may be a dead universe, but there's nerds like us who will buy anything that comes out of these versions of the characters, and he's an entrepreneur that will say, cool,
Make more.
I'll make some of these,
Yep.
and guess what, and they will, and like the Batman 2-pack that was the Walmart exclusive,
Yeah.
I clocked it because I was sitting there waiting, hitting refresh. I clocked it 3 minutes. It took 3 minutes. It took 3 minutes for that thing to sell out on Walmart.com. Now it was I don't know, and I don't know how long it took for it to sell out at McFarlane Toy Store, and and that's the thing is that you got to be careful because some people wanted to go, ooh, they sold out, and it's like, well, they sold out at this retailer, but go check out like the other 5 retailers that are carrying it. But once again, but that's the thing about Todd. Todd goes, no, not everything he releases sells. Because trust me, I can go to a Target and I can see the figures that like never move. But at least he tried. Like he gave you something different. He'll do figures from the actual comics, comic runs that I'm like,
except for female characters.
But and I'm hoping that with how much like this Wonder Woman sells, because I know people want to give him crap when he says the female figures don't sell, and I'm willing to take this man to say, well, a businessman like that is not going to say that unless he's actually got like
the numbers, the receipts and numbers,
the receipts and numbers to say that, and I would. And then the question just becomes, when people go, well, the Gal Gadot BVS one sold. Yes, because we don't have a version of her with a sword and a shield and like that version. The 1984 version didn't sell. Well, do we all remember how the movie was? I'm not shocked it didn't sell. I think the difference is, and this is where I will challenge Todd on this is, I think if you want to say that your female figures don't sell, maybe we need to look at what female figures you are making, and then that might be a difference. So that is something where I'll say, let's be a little bit more, if people say, well, all right, some more nuance. If people say, oh, all he does is make Batman figures. Well, I wonder why that is.
Because don't get me started on that.
because guess what? Because why does someone keep on making the same thing? Because it's called capitalism, and that's what the market will buy. Like they're looking at their profit sheets and going, these figures moved like nobody's business. I bought every variation of Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman from the Batman movie because hot damn. And it's like, so it once again, hot damn. So once again, it's about looking at what products you're making. So when people want to look at this BVS stuff, it's like, well, yes. I also would challenge some people, like Dave said, because we talked about this. People are like, they're already sold out. Yes, these pre-orders sold out because I'm sure that they allotted a certain number of the production run for pre-orders,
which is smart.
Because they still want figures to be able to actually go into store shelves. So let's remember that it's not like you're not going to be able to find them when they release, because pre-orders mean the pre-orders do two things. One, they set aside a certain number to generate buzz, but pre-orders, like in the book industry, pre-orders are important because it kind of lets them gauge how much of something do we need to actually produce based on our pre-orders. Our pre-orders, there are formulas that they do to say, based on this number of pre-orders, this is how much we could actually expect to sell in a store. So I want to add a little context because you just get people who like to like jump up and make, hot take, snarky little tweets, and I'm like, guys, it's a business. Do you understand how businesses work?
Yes, this is how business works. I know. I had somebody when all the stuff was being mentioned, and I was retweeting. It's like, and they were just like, what are we doing here when it comes to like, because they were poking fun about the Snyderverse stuff. I'm like, what? McFarlane has done this like crazy before. He's released legacy shit. It's multiverse. Of course, they're gonna keep on releasing different variations of things because it's. I'm like, it was like I had.
Guess what else sold out the same day? Christopher Reeve Superman.
Yeah,
Like,
You know what else? You know what else sold out pretty fast? The Batman Forever stuff they did not too long ago.
Yeah, they did Batman
Exactly.
Forever. Did you guys see what they announced today when it came to?
the Batman and Robin Batmobile.
Well, it had this right here.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So we have Batman and Kong.
Yeah.
Also.
Oh, that's the Batman Hush one.
Yeah, it's a Hush Batman. It looks looks more.
And that's something that Todd will do is that he'll, he will recycle molds.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
Well, on that note, what if I don't know. I mean, there might be an off chance he may have already done it, but what if Todd ever just went screw it and did a Superman Lives lineup with Nicolas Cage, Soups,
I'd get all my money for that.
Fire, Denigarian, Snare Beast, all of it. Christopher Walken, Brainiac, all of it.
With the spider, otherwise, no.
I don't think there's precedence for that because there was never an actual movie made for it, regardless of if there's concept art of it that exists.
I think he would do a Nick Cage one.
I was going to say the Flash movie kind of, brought that conversation to the
sure. Like at best, you might get a giant spider in Nick Cage, but like Brainiac, no, I don't see that happening. I could see maybe something for Nicolas Cage, but I don't know.
Because he was actually in the movie,
right?
I mean, there hasn't really been much McFarlane Flash stuff. Did he? He didn't do like all that much, but
no, he did an entire bundle that I bought.
Yeah, so he did like a little bit, but which was like Keaton and both Flashes.
He did Flash.
Yeah,
he did both of the Flashes because there was
Supergirl.
There was Dark Flash. There
Keaton
was
Batman.
There was Keaton Batman without cowl. There was Batfleck.
That's right. Keaton
There
Batman
was he did a '89 Batmobile with that from the movie. He did the Batwing from that movie.
Right. That's right.
The only thing he didn't do, and it's kind of like the one thing that I'm personally waiting on for him to do, is a Zod. Like I'm waiting on a McFarlane.
That's
Zod.
coming. That's got to be coming. And then I wouldn't be surprised if he even did like because again, Batman sells. He even might do like a bat flick on the bike from the Flash.
So
I thought he did that.
He did do it. He did do that.
Yeah, you could buy the Bat Cycle.
Never mind.
Yeah, because he sold the Batman figure.
Yes,
and then there was a Bat Cycle as well. They did 3 vehicles from the Flash. He did the Batwing, the Batmobile, and the Bat Cycle.
But I've been wondering about that too. Even with all the new McFarlane toys, I was like, when are we getting a Zod? I mean, come on. And I wouldn't be surprised. I'm like, yeah, fuck. Would he even go as far as like, what if he got like the the ship? That would be I don't know. Would he do the ship? Would he actually do the what do you want it to the terraforming ship? The
World Engine.
World Engine. Yeah, I couldn't fucking remember.
Black Zero, I think it was called. No.
There's two different ships. There's the Black Zero,
right,
and then there's the World Engine. Remember, there's the 2 different pieces during the terraforming at the end of Man of Steel. The only reason I don't think he would do that is because of scale. Like the whole idea of like doing the vehicles is that he makes them so you can actually put the figures in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is like my friend's stepdad. He owns a tattoo shop / toy shop, and I actually saw the McFarlane '89 Batmobile with the Keaton Batman in it, and he's selling it for cheap. And I was like, that's tempting. That's very tempting.
But we haven't got the Batfleck Batmobile, right?
No, we have
No.
not.
That's
The
coming.
only-
That's definitely coming then.
Well, you would think that would be coming because Mattel, when Mattel had the DC Multiverse license, they did the Justice League version of
The Batmobile.
the Batmobile, because the difference is the big ass, the rail gun basically that's on that puppy. But
We lost RJ.
Oh yeah, he left. Yeah, RJ had a bounce, but
I mean, I think for the I don't know if it was Full Circle. I think I won the charity drawing for the BVS and Justice League Batmobile that they gave away as part of the whole part of that event.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so depending on what donations you made or whatever. So, but I don't have an action figure. I don't have a Batman action figure that's the right size to fit in it because the McFarlane toys are an inch too big, inch too tall to fit into those ones.
And that's the thing, like Phil, you were talking about, you've got the animated series Batmobile because you and I both got the Batman Beyond Batmobile 2-pack because Shway. Crash the mode. So I will recommend to you, because my problem was finding because the animated series versions of these figures were 6 inches tall. Yep. The standard McFarlanes are 7 inches tall. I think I sent you that link, but the best thing I can recommend for the design was Walmart did a 4-pack with Batman, Joker, Harvey Bullock, and Harley Quinn. And of the animated series Batmans, the one that came in that 4-pack was the best looking one. And then I had to just get a Robin off of eBay because the Robin's out of print and it has 2 seats, and I wanted to put Batman and Robin in the Batmobile. So that's just there's a way. I had to get the Batman Beyond Batmobile because now I've got my holy trinity of Batmobiles. I've got 89. I've got animated series, and I've got Batman Beyond because I love Terry's Batmobile.
Are you getting the Batman and Robin one? Right?
Oh hell no! Oh hell no! No. The only
why not?
No. To Carrie's
point, on principle.
Yeah. On Carrie's point, the only other way McFarlane's going to get my money for a Batmobile is if they put out either a BVS or a Justice League Batmobile. And even though it's not my favorite Batmobile design, I would get it just to complete the BVS Zack Snyder's Justice League, line of items. I mean, what I would love is if they would do a Batfleck Batwing. If they did that, shut up and
you don't want
money.
this beautiful freaking go-kart of a Batmobile that has a swirling fucking engine?
Absolutely not.
I used to have a toy like that, but not way back when they had in marketing for the movie, like when the movie came out. Like I had a toy like that, but it wasn't exactly that. But that's
I would get the Batman Forever Batmobile for sure.
100%, 100%.
The glow in the dark one.
Yeah, I want to get. I'm behind as far as I want to get the Dark Knight trilogy line of McFarlane figures, including the Tumbler.
Tumbler, yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, because the Tumbler comes with Lucius Fox.
That's fine. Cool. That's great.
Nifty.
They did release. They did announce at NYCC that they're going to do I'm not sure if it's a mega fig or a collector's edition, but you're going to get Heath Ledger Joker comes with the interrogation room.
Oh yeah. By the way, there's this one from the Joker movie where it's Murray's show and stuff.
Yes, I saw that one.
That is funny.
The talk show set with
cool.
Robert De Niro as Murray Franklin. Yeah.
Wow, that's dark.
Well,
that's pretty cool. Yeah, I know. I mean, that's the thing. There's so many endless versions of things that he could release. That's what's so great about it. And again, it's he's doing a good job of all right, you put it out there, put a limited pre-order, they sell out in minutes, and then all of a sudden it's all right, time to make more, and let's do a second. It's almost like how with comic books, it's you do a first print, you do a second print. You got to test the waters. You don't want to put hey, we have thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of fucking merchandise, and it doesn't sell. No, it always looks good when people and websites post, "Oh, they sold out in 2 minutes." It always looks good.
Scarcity drives demand.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, as anyone, some people need to take an economics class and,
Yes, they do.
understand how this works, because once again, they're not sold out as in you're never going to be able to find the figure. Because once again, even the BVS bundle that I jumped on, like literally, I was sitting there on Friday afternoon going refresh, waiting for it to launch, and then it sold out within the first 10 minutes because the only place you could find the bundle was at the McFarlane toy store.
Yeah.
And then I posted, "Hey guys, it's sold out." But then you waited a couple of minutes and it reloaded. So it was like they had a certain number that they started with.
Yep.
It sold out. They went, "Oh shit." They went, "Oh shit." So then they re-upped it, and then that sold out. And now it's sold out, and now you're not going to be able to get the bundle. You have to go and buy everything, individually. Because the cool thing about McFarlane, when he does the bundles on his website, it's cheaper to buy the bundle than it is to buy the individual figures. Like, he makes the bundle a deal.
Yeah.
And so it's
better to buy the bundle.
It's better to buy because when you go back and you look at like my McFarlane Toy Store account, everything I've bought from him is a bundle. It's like the Batman Wave 1, the Batman Wave 2, the Princess Bride. Yes, I bought the Princess Bride figures. Sue me. And
I don't
Why
think anyone's
not?
gonna sue you for that one, dude.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Phil?
I don't think anyone's gonna sue you.
Inconceivable!
Yeah, you know what's funny? Like you're bringing, with Princess Bride, like that ironically was like something I was gonna say is like when you hear all these people go to like, why is McFarlane doing all this Snyderverse stuff? The Snyderverse is dead. To which I would say, oh, look who knows so much. No, it's only mostly dead. There's the difference between mostly dead and all dead. If it were all dead, there'd be no demand for those toys.
Yeah.
It's a business. That's the way I see it. It's a business.
Exactly.
And then you have the beautiful Batfleck BBS statue. I mean, yeah, it runs you like $250, but of course, there's other. And I just was looking at that, going, Jesus Christ, that is
But
it's the best option.
it's $250. It's $250, but it's because it is a statue. It's resin, and it's limited edition because it's the DC. It's like when when DC Collectibles went under with all the Warner Brothers issues. McFarlane, when he got the license, he resurrected the DC. He called it DC Direct, but those statues. One of these days when I post that YouTube video of the tour of my man cave, now that it's all like set up, you're going to see a whole hell of a lot of those statues. But they're also numbered because that's why it costs so much, because those are limited. Like those are literally like on the base. They take a marker, they take a Sharpie and printing on the base is a blank of, and it gives you the total, units that were ever created, and they hand number every base with which number you got out of whatever. Usually it was like 500. So that's why those cost so much, is because those are going to be pretty, they're going to be serious, and the cape is posable. Hot damn. That's the best part.
Posable cape.
Hey Scott, did you buy any Prime statues?
I do not. That, once again, that kind of goes back to the only thing outside of Hot Toys and McFarlane that I have ever purchased is that I did purchase one thing from Iron Studios. But I'll be honest, that was a unpleasant experience working with that website and situation. So I kind of stick with who I've had a pleasant experience with. It's like, you made this easy, I'm going to buy from you again. You make it difficult,
I won't buy from you.
I won't buy from you.
It's that simple.
So would you call the was it from Weta where the Dark Side statue came, the Thrown In statue came from?
I mean, that was. I mean, the money was painful, but
Yeah.
But the
but
experience, the actual
but you
experience
know,
of
the experience was easy. It was. I mean, they do the great thing. They offer you interest-free payment plans. You
Mhm.
know, where you can divide. People look at the dark side statue and they're like, "Fuck, you spent $1,300." I was like, "Yes, but I didn't hand over $1,300 at one
Yeah,
time."
incremental.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, well, when you're only spending like 200, 150, $200 over 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it doesn't seem
Not
so
bad.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did the same with when
I
I
don't
collect.
drink every night.
I do.
That's the great thing about like certain things, like
So
for example, in Australia, I pre-order from Pop Culture when I get like Prime One
Oh yeah,
statues.
I've heard of that place. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're fantastic. Like you know, you can either put a deposit down of like $100, and then you can decide to pay it when it comes out, because usually statues take about a year or so to come out. But like they also offer a thing where it's like they can send you a PayPal link, and you can just literally pay whatever you feel like at any time over that course of the year. So today I might put $5. The next day I might put
They definitely help out with all
yeah,
that.
and it's not like you're spending that whole, like, for example, I want to collect the I love it when Prime One and Blitzway do the Masterline series where it's like the real kind of clothing and all that. They're doing the Alex Ross statues at the moment. I'm wanting to get that line.
I would spend money on that. Alex
Yeah,
Ross.
they look fantastic because it's like comic statues but with the real clothing, and they're 1/4 scale or something like that. I've got one.
Wow.
I've got a Joker premium format in the back.
Yeah.
But yeah, like just paying like $50, $100 every once a week or fortnight over a course of a year is nothing really.
Yeah.
I mean, so once again, it's just, and here's the thing, and I tweeted this out because once again, I try to even with the podcast when Tim and I started in 2015, our mission was always to combat internet shit with positivity. And this week,
Yeah.
I have had so much fucking fun with everybody because we were all excited about different things. It was New York Comic Con. It was kind of funny because New York Comic Con seemed to be even more like quote unquote fun than the lead up to San Diego, and so it was just kind of like we were all talking about, "Ooh, I want this one, and I want this one, and I want all of these." And Dave's giving me shit, but I'm also sending links to all these other people, and that's why I posted that GIF of Winston from John Wick 4. Because I just love that line of just go have fun out there. It was just so nice for all of us to collectively for like 3 days just be like, ooh, when's it coming out? What's going on? What are you getting? Did you see this? And we're all like sharing links and pictures and DMing each other. And it was just so nice because it felt like a community again. And that was what has been missing in the last 4 years, is that the community has just kind of slowly splintered and fractured and fallen apart, and our lives have all gotten busy and adulting sucks and all of that. But it was just nice. I mean, this is another reason that I kind of just like, thank you, Todd, is that I got 3 days of like, oh, this is what it used to be like. And it was all because we were excited over some stupid action figures. But it was fun to be excited about something again, that we all came together and we were all trying to help each other out, and we were all buzzing and excited about it. And we all just kind of forgot about the stupid shit and just worried about, hey, can you help me get a toy? Yeah, dude. And that's what I appreciated about this whole McFarlane release strategy. And people go, it's out of the blue. It's like, no, it's New York Comic Con. Like, that was the impetus for all of this, was New York Comic Con, and that was cool.
Yes.
New York Comic Con is definitely on my bucket list to try and get to one year since I've enjoyed, since I'm pretty much almost only doing San Diego Comic Con, for the last number of years because just budgetarily wise, it's hard to plan for multiple ones and, they're run by different organizations and whatnot. But it seems like between San Diego and New York, those are like the two biggest ones. And they're even like, it even seemed like Marvel, like there was a lot of Daredevil stuff coming out of
we had Daredevil, we had Craven, we had
They
Venom.
showed that trailer that you had to watch pirated from D23. They showed the same trailer, and they showed it at New York Comic Con because I remember I caught the pirated Daredevil trailer from D23 before it got pulled down, and then I saw a cam footage of the trailer they were showing at NYCC, and I was like, "Oh, it's the same trailer." Like,
yeah,
okay, cool.
but I don't want to watch it on bootleg. I want to watch it.
I know. Well, I wish they would just release it.
I know. It's like, why are you not releasing it?
Yeah.
It's like you guys released the Thunderbolts trailer. Come on, do Daredevil. It's not that hard.
Yeah. It's coming out in March. We got 5 months. I mean, come on.
I wonder if it factors into, I don't know the answer to this, but I wonder if it factors because it's a Disney Plus series, if they navigate the trailer releases and stuff like that differently than they do films.
They probably do.
I sort of vaguely recall, from some ways back that even Colbert was saying something like, yeah, Netflix has a very specific timing.
2 weeks. Netflix has like a 2-week timing schedule.
Exactly. So I wonder if Disney is sort of taking cues from that to say, okay, maybe we're only going to, since they try to release the trailer closer to the release of the series as opposed to a movie that traditionally is trying to get the word out and hype for it earlier on. But I legitimately don't know. So
well, Carrie, I'm glad you brought that up because that's where I was going to go, because that's what I think. Because you got to remember with streaming, it's one of those things that it's like things can pop up on streaming and you go, "Oh, that's out now." And what they need is they don't need you to be caught by surprise.
Right.
They need you to be planning to be there, the day it drops, because that's that streaming mentality. So I wouldn't be surprised if they are waiting for a wide release of that Daredevil trailer and they're waiting for something like February to really build it up. Because I don't know. Because like you said, I don't know what Disney Plus's strategy is, but I feel like that's the only reason you would show this trailer at 2 different events and still not have released it
publicly.
Publicly.
Here's the other.
Now we got a release date. It's like fucking A. Wow, we have the actual.
Here's
trailer.
the other thing I wonder about, and again, I'm mostly just pontificating here, but when you had the Marvel Netflix series, Netflix rarely ever came to San Diego, but they would bring the Netflix Marvel series to New York Comic Con to promote their releases. So whether it was like Jessica Jones or Luke Cage or Daredevil or the Defenders, that's when they would do it. So I wonder if there is a little bit, since Daredevil Born Again is essentially like season 4 of the Netflix series now. I wonder if there's sort of enough people who are involved in the show can say hey, this is how we did it when we were at Netflix, and so they're picking it back. They saw success from that appearance at New York Comic Con for the Netflix series, so I wonder if they're piggybacking off of that for this show.
I think it also helps that what's the setting of all those shows?
True.
New York.
It's New York.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I don't know. I just know that Born Again it's a series that I feel like when it comes out, it's another one of those shows that it's nice for me to be hyped about something coming out. It's like, oh no, my butt will be in the seat to watch Born Again when it drops. But it's also cool because since Daredevil, the Netflix series is nothing ever absolutely 100% universally loved. But let's just say 9 out of 10 people you ask, we really love the Daredevil series on Netflix. It's kind of nice to see everyone excited for Born Again because, like you said, Carrie, now that they've gone back and retooled it, it really is like season 4 of Daredevil, and it's just kind of nice to be like it kind of brings people together because it doesn't really matter what you are a fan of. If you were kind of a comic television fan, we pretty much all dug Daredevil, and so it's like we're kind of all jonesing for it to come back.
The Daredevil Netflix series was really interesting in that I'm trying to think of more from like audience, reception perspective. Is that during that time, we're coming off of the Nolan trilogy, with the Dark Knight trilogy, and MCU was still in like phase 1, early stage phase 2 kind of thing, and there was a pretty big divide of like, I mean, there's still kind of a divide, but like people who consider themselves just DC fans because they thought the Marvel stuff was just too light, too silly, not serious enough. And then Daredevil series came out. They're like, oh, but if I could be into this, on the Marvel side, if you didn't like, the phase 1 and phase 2, or maybe you liked Captain America Winter Soldier, but like didn't care for the Iron Man movies or something like that, So it seemed like Daredevil was kind of the bridge that crossed the two fan bases between DC and Marvel, if you will, because obviously the Marvel fans love it because it's reflective of what we love of the character from the comics and whatnot, or just other things. But the DC fans who like the more dark, serious, gritty, more serious, like what we got with the Nolan trilogy. The Daredevil seemed to be the bridge between the two sides. So I think that adds to it, has a greater fan base than people who are like predominantly Marvel MCU fans.
And the writing was just good. That it also pulled in non comic book fans. It's like what the Penguin's doing now. You don't have to be a Batman fan or even a comic book fan to enjoy the Penguin. I've said this on DC TV Squadcast, so everyone can take a drink. That my father-in-law is watching the Penguin every week, and when I first said, "Hey, you might want to check out the Penguin," he was like, "Isn't that like a Batman thing?" I was like, "Just watch it. Just do it." The next week, he was like, "But it's not a Batman show. It's just a mob show." And I went, "I know, right?"
Yeah.
Thank you for.
It's the Sopranos that has to take place in Gotham.
What Gotham was supposed to be. The show.
Exactly. Yes. But that's the thing, is that Daredevil, while it had the hand and the ninja shit and the stuff, like all the Frank Miller Daredevil crap that I just ate up like ice cream, it was still traumatic and serious. And you were watching the characters go through shit. I mean, you understand the Kingpin. Like that episode where where you get his entire backstory is like, holy shit. So I feel like Born Again is. I'm curious. I don't feel like Born Again is going to go as far as the Netflix show, but based on that trailer that I did get to see, I mean, they're not exactly like pulling the punches, and it's kind of nice to go, oh no, they're taking some chances here, which is cool, because I think Marvel is realizing they have to take some chances. They're
Well,
like,
I mean, look what happened this year with an R-rated fucking movie. They were like, oh yeah, hey, guess what? We can do this. We can appeal to not just like, we've been appealing to this certain audience for a bit. It's like, yeah, there's this same audience also wants something a little bit more adult. And then there's even people that are just going like, hey, when they see a Marvel movie, they're like, but then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, something like Deadpool and Wolverine that goes really hard R. It's like, hey, you have to, if Disney is going to be owning like 38% of the fucking, film industry, it's like, hey guys, you have to be putting out some adult content here.
Disney's looking at their box office on Alien Romulus and going,
oh yeah,
shit.
It's so weird to think that
right.
So Alien Romulus, Disney.
Well, I think one of the reasons that it did so well is because like they actually have a good story. It's good writing. It's good jokes. Like they're taking their time. Do you know what I mean? Because they can come out with an R-rated Disney movie and it won't do well if it's not a good story or if it's not, you know. And that's like I think part of the problem when it comes to Disney. Like if you're gonna do something like that, have it stand out, and that's why I think Deadpool and Wolverine did so well is because it's just phenomenal. Like the jokes land, like it's hilarious. The story makes sense, and it's not taking itself seriously. Like every part of that movie is fantastic.
Well, and of course they even make jokes at Disney.
My favorite joke from that movie is literally Nice Pool saying the proposal. I feel like that's the funniest joke ever because it's like, why
He
would
looks in the camera and it's like
it's hilarious. It's so funny.
Yeah, because they're literally that's a joke making fun at the fact that Deadpool breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah,
and
but
the fact
it's
that it's like, oh, I'm Ryan Reynolds, so I'm gonna say a movie, and he just goes to propose. Yeah, it's
even then, but it's funny because the proposal I've actually seen it before, and it's actually pretty good.
No, it's
You
a
know
good
what I mean?
romantic comedy.
It's one of those like rom-coms. So he's just like that's genius, and that's kind of what I mean. Like if you take your time with the characters, the people who are behind the scenes doing what they're trying to do to make sure that it's good, and listening to the fans and audiences, anyone can do anything.
Well,
I think that's one of the biggest problems with DC.
They I mean, Ryan Reynolds, he and his crew need to be hired for everything marketing when it comes to the MCU now because he's just a beast when it comes to the way that he.
I don't think it's a one. I'm gonna push back against that, Dave. I don't think his sensibilities would fit for like a Captain America: Brave New World, for example. Like I don't think it's a one glove fits all situation.
No, he wasn't talking about the sensibilities. He was the marketing team, though, because the thing is that
they know what they're
They
doing.
would have to make it fit for the actual content. I wasn't saying that they should do an R-rated fucking marketing thing for.
No, but I still think the way you market it also is reflective of the material within the movie too. So
I'm not saying that Ryan Reynolds has to get up and like do like the whole Mint Mobile thing and say. No. I'm just saying like if you have his team like go like okay, how do we market this? Because I think Captain America: Brave and the Bold is going to need a lot of help.
Brave and the Bold,
Brave the World,
Brave, whatever the hell it is, Brave and the Bold.
I mean, the fact that like he did a Jack in the Box commercial, like stuff like that, like that's kind of how you get because at the same time the commercial is actually hilarious. It's like 3 seconds and it's hilarious. And so, like,
I just don't need fourth wall breaking to be applied across every MCU project.
Of course, no, I don't mean that.
Marketing is all about fourth wall breaking. They're always talking to the fucking audience.
But that takes me out of the movie. Like, I honestly hate fourth wall breaking.
That sucks for you.
Like, it takes me out of the movie. Like, I mean, I enjoyed Deadpool and Wolverine, but like, it's not going to be a thing I go to that frequently. So
I'm sure the writers who are behind the marketing can figure something out for Captain America and Fantastic Four and everything else. You know what I mean? Because they're good enough writers to know what works and what doesn't work.
It should have been released during election month.
Oh. There you go. 100%. Something like that. So
So when it comes to things that happened today at NYCC, how are we feeling about things that came out today? James Gunn and crew are on the panel. We got the trailer.
Creature Commandos looks. I'm actually interested now. I'm actually hyped about it.
That trailer got you a little bit?
Yeah, because like it looks like it's gory. It looks like it could be on par with Invincible. Not saying it's going to be as good, right? No. Obviously, Invincible has like really smart writers, and so
very cheap animation though.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't. It's not really that big. It's not really not even that. To me, at least, it's not really an issue for me. To me, it's the story. Like if it's got a good story, it's going to be good. So
I think just looks.
I love how the trailer low key had 3 Batman villains in it, which I'm excited.
They showed. Yeah, they did. They threw the Clayface in there, and
Dr. Phosphorus, who's a Batman villain, and then also there was Rupert Thorne.
Yeah, I was like, wow. Wow.
He was there?
I might actually have it tied to Brave and the Bold, I reckon, because now I reckon that's the final nail in the coffin for Robert Pattinson joining the DCU, just by showing those 3 characters in that. But I'm excited to see what they do, because, it's like full-blown Clayface, which is good.
Okay, Carrie, I know you got to take off. Your pizza's ready.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take off. I haven't seen the Creature Commandos trailer yet, so I wouldn't be able to add anything.
No problem.
Frankly, it's probably not gonna be something I'm gonna watch. To be honest, it's just not I'm just not for it. So
I mean, I feel the same way. To be honest, it's not something I'm interested in. Like, and again, it's like kind of like Suicide Squad a little bit.
I skipped Peacemaker, so I'm good.
I haven't seen Peacemaker either. I'm not really into that whole character. But I mean, I should I watch it maybe now that it's part of the DCU and all that kind of stuff? Maybe.
I thought it was great. Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for joining, Carrie.
Have a good one, fellas.
Take care.
Take it easy.
Okay.
All right. Always great talking.
Cal,
Okay, but yeah.
I will say this. I enjoyed Peacemaker season 1, and I didn't expect to. Like that.
Same here. Same.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that's like, I'm not hyped for the DCU only because my tank is empty. I will see these things and I will judge them on a project by project basis. But you're gonna have to get the ball rolling, and you're gonna have to get some W's under your belt. And when I say W's, I don't mean box office successes. I mean, I need things that go, okay, I like this. Okay, I like this. Okay, I like you got to get wins with me to win me back to where, like, I'm gonna have to earn hype. You're not just going to default get hype from me. And so I'm waiting because, like I said, James Gunn is hit or miss for me, and
I feel the same way.
But he's also hit with me when I wasn't expecting it. Like, I'm just like, I enjoyed that. That's weird. I'm sitting there. It's not like I'm sitting there ready to hate something.
Yeah,
I'm just sitting there going, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this. And then I watch it and I'm going, I'm weirdly enjoying this. And I'm curious to see if that track record keeps going, because I famously came on the Vodka stream and was like the only person who enjoyed the Suicide Squad, because I was like, I like this.
I liked it.
I liked it. And then I watched Peacemaker season 1, and I didn't love it immediately, but as a series, I kept watching, and I was just kind of like, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
This is weird. Now, not all the jokes land. That's the thing about me and James Gunn. Sometimes he just does too much, and it's like, dude, you need to back off, because like your batting average is like, you're batting 500.
Yeah.
Tell less jokes. And then the average goes up. It's the reason why I love Guardians 1. I hate Guardians 2. Yep. I love the holiday special. And Guardians 3, as long as they're talking about Rocket, I loved it. If they weren't talking about Rocket, I could leave it. So, but that's how I go.
I don't mean to cut you off. How'd you feel about the High Evolutionary? Did you not give a shit about that character?
Didn't give a shit.
Okay.
Didn't give a shit. Now, once again, though, it's also a character in Marvel that I have no
familiarity with. You
gotta remember, for me, my Marvel is predominantly Spider-Man and X-Men. Like, that's what I read. I have smatterings. Like when Iron Man came out in 2008. I was one of those weirdos who knew who Iron Man was, but it was because of the 1994 animated
show. Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Same thing with Fantastic Four, the 1994. Like, basically, the reason Dave and I do Fanimated is because if it wasn't for cartoons, I wouldn't be the fan that I am today, because the cartoons got me to read the books.
Yep.
And then I went down the rabbit hole. So if someone had a really good animated series in the 90s, I know a shit ton about those.
Yeah.
Because
ironic, because like the High Evolutionary character was used in a very short-lived Spider-Man series, Spider-Man Unlimited. He was actually the antagonist. I don't know if you knew that or not, but
I've seen it. I've seen it. I didn't watch it when it came out. Like, it was one of those things that I found out existed years later, and I found it like on streaming or something.
It got completely overshadowed by Batman Beyond. Like, there's no fucking doubt about it. It got completely overshadowed by Batman Beyond because it was essentially trying to do the same thing. I watched, and I feel a little differently about the villain for Guardians 3, and that's kind of where Scott and I probably differ, and only because it's ironic. Like, I wasn't huge on Peacemaker at all. I think the jingoistic nonsense just doesn't work for me whatsoever with that character. No knock to Cena, but because of the actor who played Merv in that show, I was like, oh, he's going to be high evolutionary.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I like him, and he is. Granted, the bar's not high, but like of the villains in the Guardians movies, I think he's the best one. But
Okay.
He's got moments where it's like, damn, this fucker's evil. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. For the love of God, please. What do you mean, God? There is no God until I stepped in. I was like, okay,
yeah,
that's good.
No, Phil, I get that. I think my problem, I don't think I had a problem with the High Evolutionary himself. It was just like I didn't like everything going on around him.
Sure.
I mean,
sure.
Because once again, the rocket stuff in Guardians 3 was so serious and so emotional, and I was invested in everything having to do with Rocket. And then everything else that dealt with the rest of the Guardians was so silly and over the top, it was leaning more towards Guardians 2, which I still to this day have such just a burning hatred for Guardians 2. When it comes to my MCU rankings of what I've seen, it's in my it's fighting for the bottom of my rankings. So once again, it's like when it comes to James Gunn, it's just like, you're talking about the guy who wrote the Dawn of the Dead remake. He can do that, and then he can also do stuff like Slither, and then he can do stuff like Guardians, and
Super.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of like, I don't know, because once again, it's not like I consistently hate him, and it's not like I consistently love him. So I'm looking at the Creature Commandos series, and I'm just like, well, I'm gonna watch it. It's on Max.
Wow.
There's no barrier to entry for me. The only thing it's gonna cost me is my time, and I'll find the time to watch it. And I don't know how I feel. I hear the criticisms people say, and I mean I don't mean just the bashing criticism. I mean like the criticism that goes, okay, you've thought about this, you're reacting to what you're seeing, and some of the things you're saying, I go, I see what you're coming from. I get it. Now, the question becomes, does that end up playing out in the show? Because I've definitely seen movies and shows where I hate a trailer, and then I watch the thing and I go, wow, that trailer did you no favors, because this is actually like Transformers 1. Love that movie. That first trailer was shit. And not indicative of all.
Yeah, it was too funny, too comedic.
Right, which is not what the movie is.
No.
So I'm just waiting to see. And like I said, I will give the DCU a chance only because I am a freaking DC fan. That doesn't mean I have to love it. That doesn't mean I have to be hyped for it. It just means I'm going to watch it and judge it based on what I see.
But Williams in the chat losing his fucking mind that people have found characters through a cartoon. Apparently,
oh my god!
Whoa, buddy. Well, relax, William. It's okay.
Dude, that's how a lot of people know Batman. So whatever.
Hey, William. I was 12 when that show came out.
I know. He was 30. Sorry.
Probably closer to 50.
Whatever.
No, I mean that's the thing. It's like well, you have to accept that not everybody finds everything through comic books. Like there's a lot of like cartoons where that's what was great about the 90s, 80s into 90s is you found a lot of these characters because you're looking for visual entertainment like that, and then that made you buy books. That means those cartoons did the job of, hey, these characters have existed for all this time. We have this whole library of shit right here that you can like go back
That's
on.
why adaptation is a valuable tool, because
Yes.
you grab an audience in a medium that they would not even know that this thing existed. I used to work at Barnes and Noble. You want to know the best thing that helped book sales? A movie coming out, because the
Yes.
movie suddenly told people that this book, that this story existed in the first place. I've told the story before. That's what happened with me and Watchmen. I saw the Watchmen book on the shelf in the graphic novel section of Barnes and Noble for, at that point, 5 years. I'd seen the book, and it's a weird looking cover. Let's just think about the trade cover of the original Watchmen. That's just the bleeding smiley face with the clock on it. If you've never, if that is the only image you have, and you're like me and you were 4 years old when Watchmen came out, I'm not going to know what that is. I'm sitting in the movie theater for The Dark Knight, and I see the first Watchmen trailer with that Smashing Pumpkin song.
Oh, it's such a good trailer.
Yeah,
such a good trailer.
And I watch the trailer, and then the title Watchmen comes up, and I'm like,
huh.
I didn't know what that was. A friend of mine had to tell me to read the graphic novel, and I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, well, before the Watchmen movie, I was like, oh, who are these people? And then of course you go back, and that's what's good about this media is like the fact that it's like, yeah, you find out when it's thrown in front of your face, then you go, oh wait, I can actually go back and read stories. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, and Dave and I've talked all the time about when we're watching the DC animated universe.
William doesn't like
fuck
that.
off, William. Okay.
You're such a friggin' snob,
It's okay. He's trolling.
Seriously.
He's trolling right now. That's what he's doing.
I know. I get it. But that's why Dave and I talk about the animated series when we talk about the animated universe. How many times, Dave? I mean, if I had $1 for every time that we said, hey, the first time I ever heard about this character was in this episode.
Yep.
But guess what? I went and said, I'm like, Starship Troopers, would you like to know more?
Right.
Yeah.
And this is pre the internet as we know it.
Yep.
So the only thing you could do, it wasn't like you could go and just read
or Wikipedia page on a character.
Right. No, you actually had to go buy the books. Because the only way you were going to learn a damn thing.
Yeah. You had to walk into a comic book store and ask the person.
You had to go outside.
And then you had to ask them hey, I want to learn about this character. And then that person had to tell you, all right, get this book, get that book. I mean, that's what's cool about comic book shops is when you want to learn about a character, you just ask the person behind, maybe it could just be somebody that just got hired there. But if if you go to a comic book shop and you know that this person probably knows their shit, you just go all right, I want Iron Man. What's the best Iron Man books I should get? And they go, well, and they'll fucking walk you through and be like, get this one, get that, get this, for the bare minimum of if you want to know the character, this is what you do. And that's what William should be doing too. Not yelling at people, not going, oh, you don't know who Iron Man is. No.
Yeah. Well, it could have been worse. It could have been worse. We could have been of the generation where our introduction to Batman was a stupid friggin' show in the 60s.
Dude.
Yeah. I mean, shark repellent is awesome. I wish I had some.
Why is that a bad thing?
Dude, I've talked to my dad. My dad thinks the Joker killed Batman's parents, full on. I'm like,
he technically did.
Not in the books. I was like, Dad, not in the books. And he's all, really? Because we were talking, because he watched the Joker for the first time before we saw the second Joker.
Yeah,
they did the whole thing where the Waynes got killed, and they weren't, obviously it wasn't killed by the Joker, because I was like, yeah, but Dad, even that took liberties of changing the origin story, and he had no idea. I was like, yeah, it was a guy named Joe Chill, and it was not, and he just totally didn't even like think of that. In his mind, the Joker as a young man killed the Waynes, because he only saw it in Batman '89. So,
But yeah, but and the 66 show, I mean, come on, the 66 show did Batmania. Like, once again,
Yeah.
the popularity of the character. And if you've gone back and read some of the comic books preceding the 66 show,
Yeah,
66
Silver
show
Age.
wasn't that far off.
Yeah.
Which is very enlightening, which is why I am so glad I didn't watch Batman the Brave and the Bold, the cartoon series, until after I read some Silver Age books, because I would not have appreciated that show without going, oh, this is what you're doing. Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of what Scott was saying, for me, like I grew up with Batman the animated series, and that's my that's my favorite kind of depiction of Batman to this day. And it's just like all the things about that. Like I don't see where Williams coming from saying that's just for children, because I feel like that's like, but children can watch it, but adults can watch it too. And it did have serious moments. And you combine that with like the Art Deco, the film noir, and like those title cards and that music was
yes.
And like for me,
and like the Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, what does he do to Tim Drake? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but like
exactly, so
that is not for kids.
Yeah. And I just wish, like, for example, with the DCU Batman, that they would lean on the animated series for their depiction of Batman. I think like that's the template you should go for, because I just think it nails it, especially Mask of the Phantasm. It's just
such a good movie.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I think that's
Scott, that's your favorite Batman movie, right?
That's my favorite Batman movie.
Mask of the Phantasm if you let me keep animation in the mix, Mask of the Phantasm is my #1 Batman movie of all time.
Yeah,
because
same here.
It's got all the things that I want in a Batman movie. And
But I don't know why we can't have Phantasm as a Batman villain yet. Like, she would be amazing in like one of the movies. Like, come on, like, how has that not been adapted? But Harley Quinn has. But Harley Quinn's great too. I'm just saying, Phantasm never got a live action depiction.
I don't know, and because I love the Phantasm, I hated that Tom King was trying to bring her in mainline continuity, and then he got kicked off the book, and it got relegated to a Black Label book, and because I was one of those people that when they announced Batman Catwoman, when it was supposed to be part of mainline continuity, I was like, fuck yeah, let's bring the Phantasm into continuity. And she's a great villain. And I think that's another thing.
It really fits for that story.
Really fits for that story. And I also think it's so cool that it's a she. Like that's the really cool thing about Phantasm is the reveal that it's Andrea.
It's a woman. Yeah.
It's a woman. And not only is it a woman, it's a woman who has a personal connection to Bruce. I mean,
and was the woman that also made him almost question not becoming Batman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a villain I would like to see. I wish it wasn't. I feel like there's enough popularity with that character that I wish that the character could find itself into some sort of mainline continuity in some way, but then also hoping that they treat her well. It's like what I've said. It's like there's only about 2 people who I trust to write Damian. Because I've just seen Damian done so badly that like there's only 2
especially
writers.
he's like drawn so he's like drawn like Tim Drake sometimes, and I'm like, that's why I get confused sometimes. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just had to get that.
I've never seen him drawn like Tim Drake. However, am then I'm glad that I've lucked out that the ones I've seen definitely. I know what Damian looks like. Like, I like that I can tell that's Dick, that's Tim, that's Jason. That's Damian. No, Jason's the one that Jason was the one who never had his own look. Jason's the one that you kind of have to go.
Yeah.
Is this
Originally he did. Like he was,
Originally,
like,
they
you
made
know-
a certain hairstyle for him. I remember.
Yeah, he was like redhead or something.
Or
ginger,
something. I don't
whatever.
know. There was something that they
And,
did. I
like,
just remember,
three
I
punches.
remember they were trying to
So-
do something with the hair, but other than that, it was like, yeah, you're right. There wasn't really a much distinction.
Yeah.
So with the other stuff that came out, I mean, because I watched Dave, I watched you and Phil. You're the ones who let me know that the panel was on, so I watched your guys' stream,
Nice.
and so I appreciated that, and I watched the panel, and what I will say for this, and all the crap aside, James Gunn is one enthusiastic son of a bitch.
Yeah, he
and
definitely
is. Yes, he is.
And I think as long as he can keep that up, I think that's good for the brand. Like now, I just hope that the content that comes out, that the products that come out.
Yeah. I love that he's also advertising the comics as well. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
But
absolutely, and and I've always appreciated that being even talking about Supergirl today. He made a point to say Tom King's book. He made that a point.
Yeah.
And so, the way that every image he's released for these movies, like how many times have we seen images and different images from All-Star Superman? And once again, I like that point. I like that. I just hope that when the movies and the shows come out, that I enjoy them.
Yeah.
Because at least he's out there being a face and a voice for DC that DC really hasn't
had at all.
They've not had.
They've not had that. So if I'm going to play maybe a little Pollyanna, or at least being a little bit more objective and saying, okay, this is different.
Yeah.
And this is cool. Because I like seeing someone who's talking that it goes, I believe you know what you're talking about. I believe that you're actually enthusiastic about this stuff. And that's why James Gunn is that face.
Yeah.
That's why you fucking never see Peter Safran anywhere, because he's the suit.
Nobody wants to see that guy's face.
No one wants to see that guy's face.
And also, every time Peter Safran was like coming out and speaking on behalf of the DC or the DCEU, he was just screwing everything up. Like back in the, remember, like it of course started like right after Shazam, where he started saying reboot, and pissing people off. So yeah,
take Roland back.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's the good thing. I was like, and we were kind of wondering. I was like, all right, is it going to bring anything more? But I do like the fact that Joshua Horowitz, right? It was
Josh Horowitz. Yeah, he's a fabulous.
He's great. He's great.
He's fantastic.
And I was glad that he was like, hey, James, so let's talk a little bit about what's coming out, and it really, and I think obviously it was all planned, and like James had his.
They had to rehearse something.
Oh, of course, yeah. And that there's nothing wrong with that. And the fact that he was like, of course, talking about Corn Sweat's performance, talking about Brosnahan, talking about, just what's happening when it comes to the DCU. I think, even though they didn't bring anything, and I wish they would have maybe went like, well, we actually do have something, and maybe they could have just like showed something like a little bit, but I think they're waiting for CCXP. That's when I think the trailer or a teaser is going to be shown, is at CCXP in December. I'm pretty sure that's when we're actually going to be getting full-on Superman.
Well, CCXP is also a larger event than NYCC. So
very true.
I mean,
and they love DC down in Brazil. That's
my God,
Brazil.
That crowd goes batshit, and it's fun to see.
Yeah.
So I think that's a deal there. I know I saw, you see certain people who just, they took Gunn's comments about Corn Sweat, and they took it and they took the opportunity to take a pot shot at Corn Sweat. And I just want to go, what the fuck do you know about Corn Sweat? Have you seen him in anything? I mean,
yeah, that's right, Axel. That's what we're talking to you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Everyone.
I know you
has
hate
that one
the guy
actor
without
that they-
actually seeing a performance of him, right?
I'm sorry. I just don't like his face. That's
You don't like his face. There it is.
Yeah, everyone.
Anyways.
Oh, come on! I'm sure there's that one actor you don't like.
That's like
Who's
off
got
our
that
stepdad, where
I
he's
never
like,
said I don't like his face.
Because the one thing I've seen, Corn Sweat in, because even for me, I have no judgment because I've only seen him in one movie.
Pearl, right?
Pearl.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I saw him in Pearl, and even
Twisters
that.
is one of mine.
And what was yours?
Twisters.
Twisters. Okay.
I saw him in a
didn't see
He was
TV
a
show with
dick.
John
He was
Bernthal.
such a douchebag in that movie.
Oh, which TV show, Phil?
We Own the City. It's on it.
He's in We Own the City.
Yeah.
It's been on my HBO Max. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like you watch that,
forever.
you watch that show and you watch the role he's playing. It's more or less like a very watered down, do right kind of character. Like it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see why he's got that Superman charm. To me, I want to see like how he's going to be handled as Clark Kent. That's really what's
That's gonna be
with
it.
the broccoli hair.
wow.
well,
You
I would-
really will take any pot shots you can at him, won't you?
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just
Fuck
saying.
his hair.
No, it looks like broccoli.
It's a wig.
Looked like broccoli. I don't think it was green, but okay.
You're talking about the Clark Kent disguise?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
talking
about
talking
the
about
hair.
the fucking-
I
yeah.
kind of I like the idea that they're actually trying to make him look like he's not Superman though, because most times
Yeah.
it's
The
just
hair.
most
the
times
hair
it's
always
the
helps.
logic, like just the
You
dark.
does anyone remember when the first image of Henry Cavill came out? It kind of looked like his hair was like curly.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
And
it looks
so-
wavier.
And then-
yeah.
I remember, right. So that for me, I remember when I first saw that, I wasn't super happy about it. And then when the movie came out, you didn't see any of that. So yeah, like sure, that picture that they came out with, he looks like he's got like that curly hair, but
Well,
in
the
a
thing
way
is,
it
like,
works.
Well, even Snyder did that. Like when he's Clark Kent, it was the hair was combed differently,
Yep.
and when he was Superman, it was like slicked. It didn't have the curl or anything like that. It's just like he slicked it a different way because hair can do a lot when it comes to things. That's why like when we saw our first image of Corn Sweat as that, and he had and they were like, and basically Gunn was like, all right, we're just gonna let your hair be your hair, and we're gonna flop it forward, and then that makes you look different than when you're Superman, and it's all slicked and nicely done. It's like
Right.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of funny. It was kind of like
Oh,
when, it's kind of like Dean Cain in Lois and Clark.
Yes.
Because when he was Clark, he had like the part.
Yeah.
And it was. But then when he was Superman, it was like
Slicked.
straight. It was like shellacked.
Oh yeah,
straight
it's like he
back.
licked his hand and whoop, just like put it.
Polish.
Yeah, so I mean that's just the common thing. It's like the hair has to not be the same. Obviously, I mean I think like when it came to Reeve, maybe the hair was a little bit. It was somewhat too because
But Reeve had the whole it's the
Curl.
famous scene from the first movie.
Yeah.
He had the whole physical performance.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
the thing, the
Yeah.
slump.
that was different.
You know
I
what's
just-
funny? You know what's funny
What?
about that is like they actually just recently did that in the most recent episode of Superman and Lois. They kind of homage that moment.
No, I know. I
Did they?
just
That's
saw
cool.
that. Yeah. Oh my god, that episode. Oh,
It was really good.
It was really good.
It was really fucking good.
But no, because you have to do that because even then the whole idea of him just taking off the glasses and suddenly we go, oh shit, you're Superman, is you've got to make that work somehow.
Yep.
And Chris Reeve did it. I just once again my deal is just don't find your own way. Just
Yeah.
don't repeat. Like
Don't
that
do the
was-
Brandon Ruth thing, even though
Yeah.
Brandon Ruth was good, but he was just basically emulating.
But that's what he
Reeve.
was directed to do.
That's
so
the
that was-
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
so it's just
And he made up for it when it came to his time to come back,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, his Superman and Crisis on Infinite Earths was like,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Fantastic. Such a cool
But
thing.
but see that's my only concern with that is what I like about Tyler Hoechlin's Clark is that he can be goofy, but then he can also be. But there's that dad element in him that like when he's being dad, you're like, oh shit, don't piss off Superman when he's your father. and
Yeah.
and even his goofiness when he's Clark for like Smallville, it's a little dorky-esque, but it's a different like it's different than Christopher Reeve's dorkiness, which is
It's a
funny
little more
because
earnest. It's a
it's
little
bit
more earnest.
Yeah, yeah. It seems more natural and less of a parody than
Yeah.
Christopher Reeve's Clark could be, which is really funny. Then when you go and look at George Reeves' Clark,
Oh,
and he's as confident as shit
Yeah.
in that TV show. So once again, I agree. I'm looking forward, and I say that I'm looking forward to seeing what does this what does your distinction look like?
Yeah. It's what a lot of us are kind of thinking about, you know?
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. But I did like that. Obviously, I mean, Gunn's gonna, be like, oh, you can't wait till you see his performance and stuff. Of course, he's gonna fluff up as
Well,
much.
because
He's gonna sell the product.
he's
Selling the product. Yeah, he's the lead of the.
He also made it. He also
He
made it.
made it.
So there's
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, he's
Wrote
gonna
it,
like.
directed it. What
Yeah.
else?
Yeah.
The
so,
only
I mean,
thing the only thing I would have done is I wouldn't have shown that crypto image earlier this week. I would have waited until New York Comic Con.
Boy.
that
show
would have
it.
been kind of cool if
Crypto,
they
man.
did show it at that panel. It could have been like
Yeah.
a cool thing. But hey, the fact that crypto's in there.
it gave him a talking point because Josh Horowitz then asked him about crypto, and it became a conversation for the
Yeah.
panel, which you couldn't have done if the image hadn't already have been
Yeah.
Very
out there.
true.
Because you got to remember, these are
Yeah.
marketing strategies. Everything is timed and planned, and it's like it releases on this day at this time for this reason because research says.
He obviously released it that day because Snyder released his whole interview of. No, I'm just
I
kidding, sorry.
knew it.
Well, like, also, I don't. Yes, you are 100% correct, Scott. That like these things are timed. They are, it boils down to that. But I also would just say, considering he is the head of DC Studios, he can literally do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
Well,
I will say,
he can, but he's also, if he's going to be the head, you don't just act on a whim.
True.
You sit there because this is the thing. All the haters aside, I don't think James Gunn is a stupid individual. So he's sitting there and he's working with a team because there's a whole fucking studio to run, and it's not just one person. People, have you watch a movie? Watch a movie or a documentary about making a movie. It doesn't happen with just one person. The two best examples I continue to give are watch The Offer on Paramount Plus about the making of The Godfather. And then also
So we need to watch it.
Classic Robert Altman movie with Tim Robbins. Watch The Player.
Wait, can I add a suggestion? Is and this is more on the creative side, but you should, if anyone hasn't checked it out, but 8.5 by Federico Fellini is fantastic.
I actually haven't seen the original. I saw the musical remake with Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, watch the original. It's fantastic. Like, it's this guy's process, this director who struggles with procrastination, and he kind of comes in and out of different, like he goes into memories, he goes into dreams, and then like things that he sees. And then into the process of making a film. It's great to see a creative's mind frame into that area, and it's funny.
I'll have to check it out. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to a studio, I mean, he's not the only one. He's just the one that's shepherding it. He's the one that's leading the whole thing. And I mean, this is what DC sorely needed. And when Zach was doing the whole thing, I mean, he didn't want to be this. And I hate it when people wish that he was that. It's like, no, he was just a filmmaker that wanted to make films. He wanted to tell a story. He was not trying to be like, I want to be the Kevin Feige of this. No, he was like, no, I want to tell my story. Let the other people tell their stories. They can branch off of my story, and that's all. And then I'm out. Of course, that's not what, Jeff Johns was like, well, I'm the Kevin Feige. So, and then all of a sudden he started fucking, throwing down the gauntlet when it came to certain things. And, that's why, and it fucked everything up when it came to the DCEU. Now that they have DC Studios, it's like, okay, cool. let's, but it's just, sometimes I don't agree with everything that fucking James Gunn puts out there and says and all that stuff. But at the same time, I'm just like going, at least there's somebody who's saying some shit and like getting people amped up. I mean, there was a big ass line. And they filled up like that panel, that crowd was like 4,000 people at least. They were excited to just be at a DC panel in New York. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, cool. So next year at Comic-Con, hopefully they do a Hall H thing where they can start really just like amping things up when it comes to the DCU.
Yeah.
But we'll see,
I'll say this, like one of the I gotta say the what he's doing with crypto has got to be like my favorite thing from his DCU so far. Good. And because as you know, like I've been very like a bit like Carrie, but not as full on as Carrie. It's like, I'm emotionally crushed by how they just stopped, the DCU, especially when they were like planning on doing a Man of Steel 2 and so on, but then that just fell through and all that. So obviously I'm bitter, but I will say what they're doing with crypto is like, I've always kind of raised my eyebrow at the whole idea of a crypto because like, I know it was a Silver Age thing, let's give Superman a pet dog because it's fun. But I'm just like, okay, looking at this from a perspective of him as the last son of Krypton. Now, obviously, Kara was sent in, and we know why, like the motivation for Kara being sent in and all that. But why the dog? And the fact that Gunn is approaching it as Crypto is is a stray himself. Now, whether or not he's a dog from Krypton or not. Just the idea of him being a stray, that's something that Superman can connect with because on the one look, he grew up on Earth, but on the other hand, he's an outcast.
Yeah.
So whether or not Crypto has whether or not he's from Krypton or he gets the superpowers at some point, I'll just be fascinated by that. But just that answering that question of why is there a Crypto? Why must there be a Crypto? That does fascinate me.
Why must there be? Well, he did refer to him as an alien dog, so he's probably going to be from Krypton.
Yeah, he definitely. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But like I said, it's just one of those things where it's like, all right, we see the pieces, and I think a lot of us, we don't feel exactly the same, but at the same time, it's like, all right, let's see what happens. Creature Commandos, interesting that's going to be the start off. I enjoyed the new trailer and things that were said today, but. Time will tell. I could have watched the first episode and go, all right, this was kind of ass, but whatever.
Well, even he kind of mentioned he was like, oh, like the first episode and then the second episode was better. And like, oh my God, here's the third episode.
Oh yeah. He said the fourth episode made him tear up.
Right. Yeah. So like, that could be said for like any show, right?
Yeah.
Once you start watching the second, the third episode and you're just like, okay, now you're like reeling me in. So I'm about it. I hope that it really is kind of that connective tissue of like, we're bringing all these, because it would be great if, because that's kind of like one of the things that I want to happen is I want either a Blackest Night, Sinestro Corps War type movie, or even like a DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths, because like maybe that's why they're bringing Supergirl in. We can have like Harbinger and stuff, just kind of getting that different story. And so if it starts with Creature Commandos and leaks into Superman and then in Lanterns, like that would be fantastic. It just the story just has to be there. And if the first 3 episodes hasn't hooked me in Creature Commandos, I'm just kind of like, well, okay, this is the start. And so hopefully it's it's good, but it looks fantastic so far. So
yeah, trailer looks interesting.
Besides the stiff animation.
Yeah, the stiff animation. Yeah.
Besides that, I'm excited for the fact that Cersei's in it. Right.
Yeah, that's right. We've been wanting her to be showing up somewhere,
Yeah,
she's finally there.
She's finally got.
She's finally there. But I think this is a good spot to end the stream. I gotta make my dinner, and I'm gonna watch the end of this freaking playoff game, it's intense. It's in the 10th inning. It's 2-2, Yankees Guardians. But let's go around the horn. If you guys have things to promote, by all means, we'll start off with Phil.
Oh, thanks for the double invite today, man. It's been a blast talking I'll shop with you today. If anyone wants to follow me, Unfiltered Vero, Instagram, Threads, as well as Blue Sky and YouTube. Again, just Unfiltered. I just put up another video on my channel today regarding something completely unrelated, Pokemon. But also the Eternal Night, buddy of mine and I, Chris Evans, break down the very first issue of Absolute Batman. So if you guys are podcast fans and Batman fans, go ahead and give that a listen too. But I also write for Multiverse of Color, as I mentioned earlier in the show. I just did a review for episode 3 of Superman and Lois, and I'll be doing the 4th episode when that drops on Monday. It should be up by Tuesday or Wednesday. So, yep.
Sounds
That's
good.
about it.
James, what do you got?
No, sorry, yeah, sorry, Corey.
All right.
Scott
goes
I don't
last.
have anything that. Pardon? Did you say me?
Yeah. You go. Scott
Sorry.
goes last. That's all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not really doing much at the moment. Thanks for having me on. I'm just working on a short film that I'll be filming at the end of the year, summer holidays or winter holidays by American standards, and yeah, that's about it, really. If anyone wants to follow me on Twitter, it's the same name that you see on the screen.
Yeah. No, James has showed me some of his short films. They're really good. So he's talented when it comes to that, man. So a couple of short films that he sent me were great. Yeah. So Cal, what do you got? You got anything?
Hey, yeah, I mean, I'm on Twitter at the DC Metal Nerd, and I started my own YouTube channel at the DC Metal Nerd, of course. So I just started making videos and stuff. So if you guys want to come on, check it out, that I would appreciate that. But yeah, thank you very much for having me on. Like I said, I've been a lurker for some time, so I really appreciate it.
No problem. Taladia Plays, what do you got?
So thanks for having me on firstly. And if you want to check me out on Twitter, it's at @TaladiPlays_. On YouTube, I'll be reacting to Superman and Lois episode 4 on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, I'll be talking about Absolute Wonder Woman. So I can't wait to do that.
Yeah.
Cool. Eric?
All right. Well, you can find me on YouTube at Hardboiled Entertainment. You can find me on Twitter X at Hardboiled Films, and you could see. And I was teasing this last time, but you can get my my film articles on American Daily Press, and the one I was teasing in particular was my magnum opus on my in-depth defense of Batman v Superman, which is on that site right now. If you want to check it out, you may remember it.
Nice. All right,
yeah.
Axel, what do you got?
You can find me at Axel Droga on Twitter. You can find me on because I'm just doing art from Lego Batman 3, the video game, and I've been enjoying doing that. And you can find me on YouTube via Droga52, where we're thinking of doing more reviews of movies. So like we'll be doing one of Venom when that comes out. We did one of Beetlejuice recently, and well, Beetlejuice 2, and yeah. Thank you for having me on again.
Yeah, no problem. And Mr. DJ Jerry Nice. What don't I agree with? I don't agree that Creature Commandos should be the start off of the DCU, and I don't agree when James Gunn has to answer every little question, especially when it's like multiple things that he's already answered when it comes to social media. Just stuff like that. Not a lot. There's just things where when it comes to things in Gunn, I'm like, pump the brakes when it comes to certain things. That's why when he had to clarify about what's in pre-production, what's in development, and it's like, dude, okay, you're answering a little too much. I don't mind him debunking. I like it when he debunks. But sometimes I think he's answering questions on social media a little too much.
Like with the Crypto the Earth Dog from the different Earth and stuff.
Yeah, and all that stuff like that. Yeah.
It just, even if he wasn't trying to do that, like it kind of comes off like you're insecure with what you're posting. And I feel it, yeah.
Other than that, Mr. DJ Jerry Nice, I'm like, hey, Gunn, do your thing. But there's things I'm just gonna be like that.
It's funny when he turns down or shuts down scoopers. That's funny.
I like that. I like that.
Okay.
All right. Anyways, guys, and then we got Scott to send us off.
Well, of course, you can find me on Twitter at ScottDC27. You can find me on Instagram at McMerlin, and you can find me on Vero at Scott McClellan. You can currently be listening to me week to week on the DC TV Squadcast, where my co-host Ray and I are breaking down each and every episode of The Penguin every week. So please make sure that you're subscribed. You can find our network on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, and you can find every episode online at our website, squadcastmedia.com. And of course, every Wednesday night here at the Film Junkie YouTube channel, make sure that you're tuning in at 10 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Pacific for our DC Fanimated stream, where this coming Wednesday we will be discussing the Batman the Animated Series episode Legends of the Dark Knight.
Ooh,
nice.
Fuck yeah, that's a great one.
Yep. There you go. That's why Scott goes last when it comes to send-offs. All right, guys. Thank you to everybody who joined the panel. And holy shit, the Yankees just took a 5-2 lead right now in extra innings. They might be going to the World Series. I think they are. Anyways, all right, guys. Love you, and thank you guys for the support of the channel and everything. And we will talk to you later.
Thanks a lot.